and 94.5 FM. Joe Reinagle, Jason Minix, The Blitz.
The Super Bowl is set, and it's exactly what we all thought it was going to be Friday when we finished up the show. Well, sort of, kind of, maybe. It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. He's Joe Reinagle. Obviously, it didn't go as well he was hoping in Vegas because he's here today. I'm Jason
here today.
Minix.
Yeah, I'm not a millionaire, so it didn't work out that well. It was a fun trip, good trip. And, you know, the best part about it, Jason, was actually being there in the sports book, watching the games, because it was a mixed crowd, right, for both games. You had mostly Cincinnati Bengal fans.
Really?
Yes, and mostly San Francisco 49er fans for the late game. So I was in the minority because I bet on the other teams and lost both games. So I didn't walk out of there happy, but it was fun.
For the record, this weekend, I had both dogs, and they both covered.
Yeah, they
so
did.
I was happy that San Francisco. I was worried when the Rams got that late touchdown that they would try to punch it in and rub it in, and that would have cost me. But 3.5.
You mean the late interception that was not Jimmy Garoppolo's fault?
How was that not Jimmy Garoppolo's fault?
Dude,
are you kidding?
He was making a Pat Mahomes type move.
He's not Pat Mahomes.
Trying to save it, and Trey Sermon dropped the ball. Hit him right in the hands.
Throw it away. You can't play like that.
Right in the hands. It was not. Look, I don't want to hear a bunch of Garoppolo bashing today. You know, everybody says that Jimmy Garoppolo is well, I'm not the only one. Right? I mean, everybody says he's a horrible quarterback. I don't see it. I mean, yesterday his stats were pretty good. They weren't that bad. A couple of touchdowns. So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, honestly, I don't think he is. He's not that bad of a quarterback.
He's not, and he'll do wonders in Tampa Bay when he replaces Tom Brady. I mean, you look at it. Weren't you just waiting for the Jimmy G moment? I was. He's Ryan Tannehill.
How? No, Tannehill.
Yeah.
Look, I'd rather have Garoppolo.
Okay.
And I tell you why. Because Garoppolo, at least what he was doing there, I mean, it was panic time, wasn't it? For San Francisco, they had to do something. He was trying to make a play. The throw was a little high.
He was under duress. He should have just thrown it away and not taken a sack.
But your guy's there.
Yeah.
You figure
sure
he wouldn't have taken a sack. It was a great play. Tosses it out there, and it was a little high. Trey Sermon should have had it, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hey, look, I'm happy. I'm happy for Matt Stafford. I'm a big Matt Stafford fan. He spent 12 years in the hell of Detroit. Okay, so the guy, you know, he had no playoff wins. Am I right?
Correct.
Until he gets to Los Angeles. Now he has 3, and he's going to a Super Bowl.
It is pretty incredible, and we'll talk about both of those games quite a bit today. Tom Brady, is he or is he not? I'll tell you now, Tom Brady is doing his podcast today. Sirius XM says it's going to drop at 6 o'clock. Maybe Tom Brady wants to control the message. Go figure. That would be the case. But he's also got to figure out the timing of it, because what has he got, a $12 million bonus if he's on the roster on a certain date?
That's right. He does. And even though Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle, don't need an extra $12 million, how do you pass that up?
Everybody needs an extra $12 million.
Maybe so.
I mean, everybody, you know, that's the thing with rich guys. They never have enough. If you've got to, and rich guys have the ability to get richer because they know how to make money.
Well, they have money to make money.
Yes.
You
capital.
Know, I love that whole thing was and rich guys, you know, they know how to make money. Well, you got to have money to make money in some circumstances.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got a lot of money, so he can, you know, pay guys that are a lot smarter than he is, or I am, or you are, that will make them money.
That's it. 12 million, you know, and not that the Buccaneers won't do it. His announcement versus when he actually puts in paperwork could be two very different things. But the whole Tom Brady thing over the weekend with Shefty and Jeff Darlington from ESPN, they're sticking with their original reporting. They're not backing down regardless of what Tommy's dad said. But if Tom Brady really wasn't going to retire, Tom Brady would have taken to Twitter over the weekend real quick and said, "That's BS, news to me." Instead, we heard from his agent, which was kind of vague. We heard from his dad, which was, Tom's not ready to make the announcement yet, kind of thing. Tom Sr. denying it, but the agent saying Tom's still thinking about it. I just think if it were really untrue, Tom Brady would have been really quick to put out a video or put out a tweet saying that Shefty is wrong.
But why not let Tom Brady make that decision? I get that's what Schefter and those guys do. They break news like that. But I mean, come on. The guy's he's the best quarterback in football history.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let him make that decision. Why can't Shefty just call him and say, "Hey, Tom, this is what I'm hearing. Can you confirm that?"
Well, he probably did.
And what Tom said, no?
I saw a meme over the weekend. Obviously a fake text thread. "Tom, are you retiring?" Tom said something and it said not delivered, said something else, not delivered, and then yes, got through. and in the back and forth. Who knows? But Shefty said it, so it's going to happen. So whether Tom was ready to or not, since Shefty has put it out there, Tom has to retire now. That's the rule.
That's the rules, right?
That's the rule.
Well, no, I hope he doesn't now. I hope he says, "You know what? I am going to go one more year, and we're going to try and get this thing done." Because, even unless this was already decided before this year, I mean, this is too quick to make a decision like this. It's been a week.
It feels a little fast unless he knew at the beginning of last year that this was going to be his last.
What the thing to do is he's talking to Arians, he's talking to the Bucks. What are you going to do? How are we? What are the plans for this team? Are we going to have a shot at a Super Bowl next year? I mean, that's where the decision comes down. I mean, Tom Brady doesn't want to play on a team that has no shot at reaching the Super Bowl, because what else does he have at this point in time? He has nothing. So if he thinks they've got a shot at making the Super Bowl again, why not come back?
That's the way I see it. But we'll hear from Tom today, and so it will be all over the place as the Sirius XM drops here in a couple of hours. I wonder what time they record that interview, but we'll get into it as we continue. But let's talk about those games yesterday.
Oh, man.
I did not think we would have the quality of football this weekend that we had a couple weeks ago. And let's face it, at halftime of the first game, it was looking like a snooze fest. It was 21-3. Should have been at the very least 24-3 at halftime, if not 28-3. But Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City offense, they made a boneheaded mistake that, and there were some mistakes made throughout the day. And I know I look at things through blue and silver glasses. If Mike McCarthy would have done those, if Dak Prescott would have done those, there would be, people with pitchforks marching onto Jerry's property to get rid of Mike McCarthy. But the great Andy Reid and the great Patrick Mahomes with a couple of the dumbest plays you will see in football.
Well, that last play, and you can look at it a couple of ways. We were talking about this earlier before the show, that, Tyreek Hill has a tendency to make people miss.
Yes.
But just like the Cowboys before in the wild card game, they're taking a chance because they had no timeouts. And you think that Mahomes thought he had one left.
They lost that timeout on that weird challenge. But if you look at that play, Mahomes was looking at the ref trying to call a timeout, and it wasn't there. He didn't have one to take, and time ran out. Now, in that situation, you have to throw it into the end zone if you're going to throw it. If you're not going to settle for 3, you got 5 seconds. You got a chance for one quick play into the end zone, and then maybe you get your field goal. But you can't throw that ball in bounds. But the one guy maybe you can throw it to in that situation is Tyreek Hill, because I think 9 out of 10 times, Tyreek Hill in a one-on-one situation to make a guy miss and get 1 yard for a touchdown, I think I'd put my money on Hill to make that play. And as boneheaded as it was for Kansas City, tip your cap to the Bengals defense and Eli Apple for making one hell of a defensive play.
Well, Jason, you're up 21-3.
Mm-hmm.
You make it 24-3.
You get greedy. You got greedy.
And you get the football back to start the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, that was just just dumb. I mean, you're going to have a 3-touchdown lead going into the second half, and you get the ball to start with. I mean, how in the world do you not take the points there? I mean, they were moving the football. Cincinnati was having a very difficult time stopping them. But you've got one of the biggest tight ends in the history of football. I mean, can you just not throw it to him and have him get it? I mean, in the end zone is what I'm talking about. So I just think that was a huge turning point, gave Cincinnati a lot of momentum going into the halftime locker room, and credit Cincinnati for what they did, some of the adjustments they made to completely shut down that Kansas City offense in the second half.
Well, I'll tell you what, at one point during the broadcast, the great Tony Romo said, whatever the defensive plan is, you've got to throw it away. They've got to do something different. And at halftime, that is what the Bengals did. And in the second half, they dropped 8 in coverage, 45% of pass plays. They only did that 25% in the first half, and Mahomes was taking everything underneath, right? Second half, those plays weren't there. He threw for 60 yards, 59 yards in the second half, got sacked a couple times, and then had, again, some bonehead plays, the interception. But even towards the end, could you imagine they were trying to figure out, do they try to score and win the game, but trying to make sure Joe Burrow had no time left on the clock? Or do we have an easy field goal? And he took that bad sack and even fumbled the ball in that situation, just running around being nuts. It was crazy.
You know, as much as we criticize the Cowboys and their problems in that wild card game, you have to say the same for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Because obviously Andy Reid, the great Andy Reid, was outcoached by Zach Taylor in that second half. There's no question about it. I mean, it was a great job of making the adjustments that needed to be made. And hey, Cincinnati's going to the Super Bowl. There you go. Live with it. And Joe Burrow, right? He's going to make a lot more money and buy more necklaces.
Joe Cool, and those are real, by the way. Those are real. Somebody asked him about his chain. Dude, you just won an AFC championship game. You're going to the Super Bowl, and some guy's asking you if your necklace is real. And I appreciate his honest answer. Dude, I make too much money to wear fake. Apparently he hasn't talked to Ocho Cinco, another former Bengal, who said he used to always wear fake earrings because he could get bigger. They looked better, but if he lost it, he wouldn't be distraught. It's kind of interesting. But you go back to Tony Romo at the end of that game, and think about the conversation that was leading up to that with Romo and Nance. And he's talking about, well, Kansas City has a chance to score here, take the lead, and win this thing in regulation. Or are they trying to set up for a field goal to send it to overtime? And Tony Romo tried to be a comedian, and Jim Nance just totally whiffed.
I mean, anything. There's many things the ball could slip. I mean, I've seen guys in the playoffs drop a snap before in a big situation.
Barely got that away in time, the snap. But Aikman steps back 3 yards, downs it between the hashes, and now they'll bring out McPherson. Well, let's just see if he happens to say anything here as confident as last week.
You missed my joke. I said I've seen guys drop a snap in the playoffs before. Key situations.
On a joke, and you talk about your own blunder in Seattle, and your partner doesn't get it. Move on. Move on. I think he was so pissed off that Jim Nance didn't get what he was talking about.
Well, Jim Nance should have gotten it, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You should have gotten that, and it would have been a funny moment. And, you know, I admire Tony for making fun of himself there.
I'm glad he can finally do it. It's been a long time.
Well, it has been a long time, but, you know, that's kind of quarterback blunders. That's kind of a Cowboys thing, isn't it? In the playoffs.
Stop. Yes, actually. It's kind of that, but I again, credit the Bengals and the matchup that we're going to get with the Rams. I'm a little worried that Joe Burrow might get sacked 1,000 times by Aaron Donald.
He might. Von Miller.
But
man.
But Joe Burrow did show yesterday athleticism that, let's face it, you're lying if you're going to tell me you've watched a lot of Bengals football this year. Now, you probably saw him a lot at LSU run for more than what he's done. I've seen all over social media some of his basketball highlights. We know the kid's an athlete. But his escapability yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs was impressive. And I do like the idea of, it was, for me, either Rams-Chiefs or Rams-Bengals. That makes a good Super Bowl. As long as San Francisco and the 49ers aren't a part of it. Because I want good quarterback play. I want great quarterback play, Joe Reinagel, in the Super Bowl. And just the matchup that we could get. And you're going to see that with Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl 1 year after he was able to join the LA Rams. I mean, it was a year ago yesterday that the trade went down. It's crazy.
Well, the Rams went all in to get to this point,
Yeah.
right? With Stafford, you got Von Miller, and they upgraded their entire team, and it's paying off for them. And I understand what you're talking about when you're talking about a good quarterback play. Although, again, I think Garoppolo is not as bad as everybody tries to make him out to be. However, having said that San Francisco team, you got to give them a lot of credit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody expected them, to go into Dallas and do that. Nobody expected them then to go to Lambeau and do what they did to the Green Bay Packers. And then they gave the Rams everything they could handle yesterday. And so, man, give them a lot of credit. They played their butts off, that's for sure.
They did. But again, you have a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. And you can't put that game away. They had a player, what's his name, Tart, who had the easiest interception he'll ever have in his life, and he dropped it.
He did.
On the very next play, Matt Stafford made him pay. And Garoppolo, in crunch time, in his numbers, he was 16-30. I'm no mathematician. That's about 50%.
It is, yes.
I mean, he wasn't awful, but he wasn't great. I want to know, though, Kyle Shanahan. Did you forget about number 19? Deebo Samuel did not touch the ball in the final 8 minutes of that game. How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, he's your best player, obviously, by far. It's just, here's what's going to happen, Jason. And Deebo Samuel he's a unicorn, right? I mean, those kind of guys they don't come around all the time. But here's what's going to happen now, I'm afraid. Teams are going to draft guys that they think are the next Deebo Samuels. And then they're going to find out that there's not another Deebo Samuel. You know what I'm saying? They're going to waste a draft pick. They're going to think they've got this guy that can play running back, play wide receiver, do it all. And I think it's going to come back to haunt them. It happens all the time when you have a guy like that. They think they're a dime a dozen all of a sudden coming out of college, and they're not.
Well, and again, I mean, when you look at Deebo, and he was on, was it the Fox pregame show, doing an interview, and he's sitting there wearing shorts, and you just see those trunks that he has. And,
oh, my gosh.
You and I, every time we go to Oxnard for Cowboys training camp, a lot of those wide receivers have really skinny legs, right? Deebo's got these trunks. He's built that way. Forever, we've seen, especially under Jason Garrett, whether it was Dwayne Harris or Lucky Whitehead, these receivers that were always going to get the ball on a jet sweep. And you knew as soon as one of those guys came in, they were going to try to run the jet sweep, and rarely did it work for the Cowboys. But if you've got Deebo, and the way San Francisco played that first half versus the way they played the second half, the Rams made some adjustments. Obviously, Matt Stafford got going in that second half, especially to OBJ. You get two receivers with over 100 yards, but Garoppolo was an efficient 8-12 in the first half and finishes the game, 16-30. And they get outscored 13-0 in the fourth quarter. You have a 10-point lead, and you get away from what got you that 10-point lead. Hats off to San Francisco for going into Dallas, going into Green Bay, and blowing a lead in the NFC Championship game. But the Jimmy Garoppolo love, I don't know, man.
I
don't know about that.
I'm not in love with the guy. I just
Really?
don't think he's as bad as everybody thinks he is. I mean, what I like about a Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday, I mean, the guy hustles. He tries. There's effort there, right? And maybe he just doesn't have the tools to get it done. I don't know. But I love what he did on that last play. And I guarantee you, had he completed that pass and the drive continues, who knows, right? And then we're all singing a different tune about Jimmy G today. I just think what he did there were two guys that had him dead to right. And it was sack. He gets away from both of them. The third guy gets him. He shuffles the ball out there. It's a little high. Trey Sermon should have caught it.
He throws an interception, Joe.
It off of Trey Sermon's hands.
On a pass that was thrown the way he did. That's where, I mean, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
He's not.
He shouldn't have tried that. Just throw that into the bench area and live to play another down. Don't take a sack.
I appreciate the hustle. I do. And the effort that he showed there. All right. Look, they weren't good enough. San Francisco overachieved, and they did so because of their defense. Their defense, you want to say anything, their defense let them down. Or you could say it was a spectacular performance by Matt Stafford.
I think it was a spectacular performance by Matt Stafford.
Okay, I'll go with that.
I mean, and again, San Francisco defensive back makes an interception. I mean, that guy is going to be 83 years old someday and wake up sweating in the middle of the night about that drop.
Yeah.
That is one of those plays that will haunt him the rest of his life. I know he's tweeted out that it won't, but I think about Blake Gideon with the Texas Longhorns years ago against Texas Tech, has an interception go right through his hands and fall onto the ground. And a couple plays later, Michael Crabtree makes an incredible touchdown catch. Blake Gideon dropped the crystal ball. That would have been another natty for the Texas Longhorns. Well, dude, why do I remember Blake Gideon for anything? I shouldn't. But that dude cost the Longhorns a national champion. And if you're a 49er fan, that Tart guy will haunt you the rest of your life.
That's why those guys are playing defensive back. They can't catch. If they could catch, they'd be playing wide receiver. That's the reason.
It's possible. But the thing, we've got a Super Bowl matchup. Rams were down 10. Bengals were down 21-3. And they're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, the storylines over the next couple of weeks are going to be incredible. I mean, because there's a lot of us that have been Bengal fans, lifetime Bengal fans for the last 10 minutes. Right? And again, I don't know who I want to root for in this game, because I really like what I'm seeing out of Cincinnati. I'm falling in love with the hot new toy, if you will. I mean, there's so many great storylines where you're talking about a young coach, a Joe Burrow, a Jamar Chase, some of the talent there, Trey Flowers. They've got a San Antonio kid on that Bengals team. I mean, there's a lot to like about the Bengals.
Don't they have a Chidobe Awuzie?
A Cheeto?
Cheeto?
They do have Cheeto.
Yeah.
They do have Cheeto.
I thought it was funny because all over social media today it's funny how a Cowboy has to leave Dallas, go to Cincinnati to get into a Super Bowl.
They also have a dude named DJ Reader who left the Houston Texans to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. DJ Reader, friend of the show. We did an event with him a couple of years ago with the Texans Caravan came into town over at Sideliners, and the event was over, and Reader stayed at that bar, I don't know, a good 2 hours. And like a lot of the people that were there early had left, and then he stuck around, and I don't know, there might have been about 15 people there. The bar bill was ridiculous. He bought everybody drinks.
Nice.
It was I've been a big DJ Reader fan since that night. Cool dude. I'm happy for him. He gets to go to the Super Bowl, but it's hard to pick against the Rams. Although, interesting fun fact, the game is at SoFi Stadium.
Yep.
That is the home of the Los Angeles Rams. Cincinnati will be the home team.
Exactly right.
The Rams are going to have to go find out where the visitor locker room is.
So do you think there'll be a lot of Cincinnati fans?
No.
I disagree. I think there will be, because just what I saw yesterday in Las Vegas. Now, maybe they're all bandwagon fans, Jason, and that may be possible.
Did they have jerseys?
A lot of them did.
I don't know if you're a bandwagon fan, you go with a $150 jersey.
Well, I'm not sure all of them were $150 jerseys.
I got you. Still.
Yeah.
50, or do you just get a T-shirt for the day?
Maybe.
Or you just wear black or orange?
And people walking around the casino with Cincinnati Bengal jerseys on. I mean, so I don't know. They may have more of a following than you think.
They're all coming out of the woodwork.
They are.
I mean, I know one guy in town that's a true Cincinnati fan, and that is Chuck Blunt from the Express News, the food writer guy.
Right.
Because he posts about them all the time. I don't know anybody else. A friend of mine went to school in Cincinnati. He said he's not a Bengals fan, because I'm trying to figure out what to cook on Super Bowl Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati's famous for like chili and their spaghetti. And I don't know that I can do that.
Can't do that on the Traeger.
I don't know that I could do that on anything. I know their chili is a little bit different, but Cincinnati's got to have better food options.
Well, in Los Angeles, what is that, sushi?
Probably sushi, or, well, what you'll find is every place in LA, and you've been to Oxnard 1,000 times,
yes,
they all have the world's best clam chowder.
Of course. And some of it is good, especially out in Santa Monica.
Absolutely. There's some, but again, every place you go to is the world's best clam chowder. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have some chowder in the mix. If San Francisco is there, we'd get it with the sourdough bowls because that's what they're famous for up there in San Francisco. We'll figure out the food for Super Bowl Sunday as we continue here on the Blitz. But the big story of the weekend, besides the games, the reports that Tom Brady was going to call it a career. We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, you need to go see my friends over at Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex. I can tell you firsthand how great Ancira is because I am a longtime Ancira customer, and it's because of their great customer service before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ancira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available, and their service after the sale is second to none. And you know price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner.
Say it ain't so, right? Tom Brady going to retire. Plus, we have some breaking news right after a SportsCenter update from James Pledger.
Thanks, Joe. Well, we'll start with the Dallas Cowboys as they have a sixth Pro Bowler now, with wide receiver CeeDee Lamb being named as a 2022 Pro Bowler, replacing Rams wideout Cooper Kupp, who will be in the Super Bowl. Lamb joins 5 other Cowboys on the Pro Bowl roster, including Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, Brian Anger, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. The Pro Bowl is this Sunday in Las Vegas. In other Cowboy news, the Pro Football Writers of America have named Trayvon Diggs the most improved player of the year, and defensive coordinator Dan Quinn is the assistant coach of the year, while the Houston Texans have conducted a second interview with Dolphins head coach Brian Flores, and also finished up their interview with Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell. I'm James Pledger.
Has this ever happened to you? My friend was telling me about his new pair of headphones, so I looked them up online. Now, everywhere I go is a creepy ad for those headphones I looked at one time. I hate that feeling like I'm being watched. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Before we rodeo San Antonio, mosey on over to Dietz Tractor. We're busting out of the chutes early with a stock full of LS tractors. And this is no 8-second ride. Take your time and choose from a field that includes compact and utility tractors at low prices. Excel in your field with LS Tractor, 7-time winner of the EDA Dealer's Choice Award. Backed by a limited 6-year warranty, LS Tractors will give you more standard features and more performance for less money. These are some of the hottest tractors around, and Dietz Tractor wants to sell them to you today at unbelievable prices. Dietz Tractor, where you get more tractor for less. Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
If you're on the job day in and day out, you know living with pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders is miserable. The good news, QC Kinetics gets it. They understand guys like you.
They don't have the luxury of taking time off. They want to keep working. We are built for those guys that want to keep working and want to stay active. So the vast majority of who we see are the blue-collar guys like me and you.
QC Kinetics uses biologic therapies, just like pro athletes have used for years, to get you lasting pain relief with no surgery.
I want you to continue working. I want you to continue exercising. The joints are made to be moved.
The treatments at QC Kinetics are fast and non-invasive.
It's not a lot of time commitment on your part. There is no downtime or recovery time. You don't need short-term disability with what we do. We want to keep you active.
Call QC Kinetics now to set up your free no-obligation consultation. Learn how you can get real pain relief and stay on the job.
QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318 in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. Call 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. So good, you gotta try it. With Straight Talk, you can get our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month. Now with unlimited high-speed data, plus 5 gigabytes hotspot data, and no contract, with nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot for your data when you can get unlimited for a whole lot less? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
No one covers the Bengals and Rams more than a little sports station down in San Antonio, Texas. Always have. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You know, it was one of those Saturday afternoons where you saw the tweets, and I don't know what your first reaction was, but mine was, man, I don't know if this is real. And I don't doubt Shefty, but I kind of want to hear from Tom. It is the Blitz. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. If you're listening to us right now on 94.5 FM, tomorrow we're going to be on 103.3 FM. Apparently the switch will get flipped tonight around midnight. I'm really not sure what happens. Do we unplug one thing and plug it into the other and switch it? I don't know how it all works, but I'm told tomorrow, if you want to hear us, you got to go find us on 103.3 FM.
And it's going to be a better signal.
It's a bigger signal.
And
it's better.
Bigger, yeah, and better. But you can still find us on 1250 AM too.
Correct.
Or Facebook.
Correct. But if you just wake up tomorrow morning at 94.5 and you're hearing some hip-hop music, just understand We 103 is going to become We 94.5, and we're going over to 103.3. So I'm just saying. You know where to go. You've been warned.
Yes, and you will be warned more, I'm sure, during the course of this program today.
Correct. And I've got to start learning. You used to have to learn where we are to say where we are.
I just learned 94.5, and now I got to learn 103.3.
I don't even know that you've actually learned 94.5.
I still write it down.
You still write? Well, but you always just say 1250.
1250. I do say 94.5.
Sometimes.
Well, I have to do it with some of the things I record. So 103.3 is where we're going tomorrow.
That is correct.
Okay.
And again, if it's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. Just hit your preset now, make the adjustment. Although when I say now, when you get to wherever you're going, you're turning your car off.
Yeah.
Go find 103, save that as your preset. I don't switch off today because we're still on 94.5.
You sound bigger on FM.
I'm taller.
Okay, not bigger.
Yeah, I've been a big guy before. I'll never get back to 300. I can promise you that.
Well, no promises here. I mean,
you'll never be 300 pounds.
I'll never be 300 pounds.
Joe Reinagel will never be 300 pounds.
I won't.
I will never be 300 pounds again.
Okay. Well, that's good. So we know that.
Yes. So I'll always say I sound taller.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah, fat. Yeah, you call me fat.
He sounds a little.
I'm a little fatter on 103.3. It's all good. So, Tom Brady, the announcement, he's going to retire. My first thought was, I mean, it's kind of it's like when Tim Duncan retired. You knew it was coming, but it was hard until it was real, until I heard from him. And then, you get the short press release from the Spurs and you go, yeah, that's the way Tim will do it. The timing of it seemed odd for me. But if you're Jeff Darlington, if you're Adam Schefter, as soon as you get that news and you have triple confirmed it, you've got to go with it. That's not something you sit on as a reporter. You just can't.
So you think they triple confirmed it?
I do.
Well, with who?
Well, I think Gronk finally got a USA account, and so there's one source. I think I don't know who all their sources are. You know how sources work, and you know, especially on a story like that, you can't retire a Tom Brady or announce somebody's dead without making sure. And I think those are one and the same. Like when you if you get news that somebody has passed away, you don't want to tweet out that they're dead if they're
Right.
really not dead,
No,
right? You've got to figure out ways to do that.
I think with Shefty, though, he's got people in high places that I think he probably would go with it without triple checking it. Right. I mean, if you've got a guy in the front office of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or a guy that, you know, best friends with Tom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Giselle?
Giselle,
Whatever.
maybe it may. Well, there you go. If it's Giselle, maybe she said he is going to retire. Not that it was his choice, that he was going to.
Well, he doesn't have a choice now because Shefty has put it out there. I mean, you know, if Woj tweeted it, I'd know for sure it was happening.
Well,
I mean, it really is one of those unfortunate parts of the media business that gives us all a bad look. Everybody in the
it does
in the business.
It does.
But that is the job. And I would like for Tom Brady to be able to control the messaging, but that's not the world that we live in. And Tom knows that. But I do believe if it was 100% false, we would have heard something directly from Tom saying that Shefty got it wrong. And we didn't get that.
Well, and maybe we'll get that today. That's possible. Or we'll get the other side that he confirms the story. Or I can hear him say, you know, I haven't made up my mind yet. I could hear all three coming from Tom Brady when he does his podcast coming up. Well, what I'm bitter about, though, is that Saturday, I'm in the middle of a casino trying to have some fun, trying to gamble a little bit. My phone's like bzz, 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 going off, and I see this. I'm going, man, that's a bummer. Right? So I tweet back out, hey, you know, thanks for all the good time. You're the GOAT.
Yeah.
Happy retirement. Then like an hour later, it's like, wait, is this true? So I tweeted,
I'm back.
Is Tom Brady retiring or not?
You know, again, the NFL calendar timing is there, and his agent mentioned that. The dad, I mean, because he wants his son to be able to, you know, do it however he's going to do it. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he had a TV special like LeBron called The Decision where he could raise some money for a charity. Jim Gray hosts his podcast. Did he promise Jim Gray the exclusive? I mean, and again, it's on his own timeline. But even, what was it? One of his foundations, the TB12, whatever, also congratulated him on a great career in a tweet that has since been deleted. So even like his business people thought it was real.
Well, you can see that it could very well be. I mean, the man's going to be 45 years old by the time the season begins later this year. I could see that. I mean, that's just unheard of, right? What was Blanda, 47?
Yeah, but I mean,
remember George Blanda? He was just a kicker too, right? I mean,
just a kicker, a quarterback.
Well,
you know, he smoked in the locker room at halftime. I mean, it was a different time back then. But I do look at Tom Brady being the competitor that he is, to not want to go out like Ben Roethlisberger, where you're going, all right, dude, it's time. Like everybody knew Ben was over, but Ben.
Yeah, but dude, did you see any indication that Tom Brady is anywhere near Ben Roethlisberger?
No. But I also look at the status of the Bucs roster.
That's huge.
And Tom Brady not wanting to play for a team that doesn't have a real shot at a Super Bowl.
And that's it. I mean, that's the decision right there. It has nothing to do with Tom Brady and his skills. Look, everybody knew for the last couple of years that Ben Roethlisberger was not the same guy that he used to be. And it just, steadily got worse. With Brady, and we were talking about MVP early in the year, right? About midway through. I mean, hey, Brady for MVP. He's playing great. So his skills haven't diminished. It's either, like you say, it has everything to do with the Bucs and what they're going to do, or some guys just like to pick and choose when they walk away, Jason. And, a lot of the greats like to just pick and choose when they walk away and do it on their own terms.
And not many get that opportunity. Not many can walk into the boss and say, you know what, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
Yes.
The game doesn't allow that.
I know.
But for Tom Brady to control his own destiny, now, does that mean he's going to look for another team to go to? Could he end up in San Francisco? Because Jimmy G won't be there next year. They've committed a lot to Trey Lance.
I don't see that happening. Do you?
A reunion with Bill?
No. They've got their guy there, I think.
Does he go home again to finish his career there? You know, Robert Kraft loves him.
Okay, here's a tweet. Let me just say this from a guy by the name of Greg Allman, and my friend Evan Klosky retweeted this. It says, some wrong read from the same wrong tweet. Brady gets the $15 million deferred bonus, whether he's on the roster or not, but he must also repay $16 million if he retires. This isn't why he hasn't announced the decision on retiring, and that's all it says. So I didn't know that. And again, take that for whatever it's worth. It is a tweet, but I trust Evan Klosky, who is the main anchor in Tampa up there. So I trust him. If he's retweeting this, I'm assuming that that's got some legs to it. So he gets $15 million, but he's going to have to pay back $16 million, which makes no sense to me at all. So he ends up losing $1 million.
A little cap gymnastics, but I'm sure that they'll make that go away. There'll be some creative accounting done there to where he gets a nice retirement party. But again, I just look at where else could he go? But if Tom Brady is out in Tampa Bay, let's say if Aaron Rodgers, if he ends up in Denver, does that not open the door for the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott?
Well,
I mean, when you look at all the great young talented quarterbacks are playing in the AFC. You know, I mean, you got Matt Stafford in LA and San Francisco. They're going to end up going with Trey Lance. They invested way too much to have him sit another year. Who knows what's going to happen in Chicago? Eberflus introduced today as their new coach. Can Brian Daboll really fix a Daniel Jones in New York? I mean, you look at what's going to happen in New Orleans. The NFC is wide open for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys right now.
You still have a guy looming out there by the name of Deshaun Watson, who could very well end up with a Washington football team or a Philadelphia Eagle football team. That is certainly the possibility. And if not that,
Pittsburgh,
which is AFC.
So I'm rooting for Pittsburgh.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's still out there. And I think it's the end of February is when all of this, at least criminally, is supposed to be decided. So that's coming up. And you just never know where that guy's going to land. And wouldn't that be interesting if he landed in the NFC East?
The offseason is going to be a wild one for sure. Tom Brady is doing his podcast today, the Let's Go podcast, Sirius XM, to the point this is so big, they put out a press release that, yes, Tom is doing the podcast today. Tune in.
Well, why not? It's that good publicity, and a lot of people will.
Yeah, absolutely they will. We will be all over it in the 6 o'clock hour, letting you know what Tom says on his podcast. And if they produce it right, they'll drop the news, whatever it is, pretty late in the show.
Yeah, like at the end. Oh, by the way, Tom, did you want to say something?
Yeah, there were some reports.
Yeah.
I can see Jim Gray. So, Tom, there were some reports over the weekend. Your thoughts on that? Well, you know, Jim, I was just trying to enjoy a Saturday afternoon, and my phone started blowing up.
Right.
I had no idea where this was coming from, and we're out of time.
I can see that happening. Let's keep this going a little while.
So is your career. Speaking of phone blowing up on Saturday, Ryan Eagle was in Vegas over the weekend. Then I see a dude that parlayed a $20 bet, a prop bet, and turned it into $579,000.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
And it wasn't me,
clearly,
unfortunately.
because you're at work today.
Yes.
But we'll tell you about this crazy story as we continue here on the Blitz. The Moose, Daryl Johnston, will join us in about 45 minutes. You know, injuries do happen. If you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries, and he has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available, and if you need surgery, you get referred to the specialist that will get you out of pain. No reason for you to be in pain. If you're hurting, Visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Schedule an appointment by calling 210-804-5490, 804-5490, or learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to L.A. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Was the guy driving the company van next to you too busy taking the infamous car selfie for his dating app when he wrecked into you? He's still single, but now you're seriously hurt. If you or a loved one is hurt in a wreck with an 18-wheeler or company vehicle, don't call just any dude. Call the dude, the personal injury dude. Mark Polling at Polling Law PLLC at pidude.com. That's pidude.com. Or call 210-201-0303 24 hours a day.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Yeah! Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, has discounts piled to the ceiling. That's right, every store, Austin and San Antonio, and especially the Bandera Road store in San Antonio, has discounts on everything. Car stereos, car alarms, and especially the window tint you want. Dark, dark, dark window tint. Also, make your car go thump, 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 mother thump, with new subwoofers and an amplifier. That's right. We can even hook it up to your existing factory car stereo. Get to Mother's Window Tint today. Check us out online at motherswindowtint.com or give us a like and a follow on Facebook. Tell your friends. Come on in. We've got those discounts stacked to the ceiling at Mother's Window Tint. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to L.A. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Everything's bigger in Texas. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
A week from today, we're going to be in Los Angeles. Our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage powered by Texas Cheer Liquor, Radio Row. It's going to be fantastic. Great Super Bowl matchup to talk about with the Rams and the Bengals. Then, of course, there's always the gambling aspect, the prop bets that you get for the Super Bowl, right?
Absolutely.
You know, Ryan Eagle, there was a guy this weekend that used a site credit. So it wasn't even like his real money. And he parlayed a $20 final score prop on both games, 29,000 to 1 odds, and he won $579,000.
You know, that is incredible. And the fact that he didn't have to put up any money is pretty incredible. But, dude, the guy nailed the score of both games. How does that happen?
Dude, it doesn't. That's why that's why $20 paid out $579,000. I mean, you know, the book takes that and goes, sucker, that was 20 you won't get back.
Right.
But that's isn't that the fun of what we do? I mean, when you were just in Vegas over the weekend. I'm sure you had the opportunity to go with some odd prop bets. I'm sure the in-game betting for the coin flip at overtime was, pretty interesting if you're into things like that. It's just, to me, to pick the final score of both, I was sweating out, because I had the Rams winning, but I took San Francisco in 3.5 points. And, I was sweating that the entire game.
Dude, I'm telling you what, that is just incredible that this guy nailed both final scores. I mean, that's just that's a one-in-a-lifetime thing. I mean, it's like winning the lottery, right? Basically, that's what he did. But to nail the score, I mean, how did he come up with that? I mean, I would like to talk to that guy and say, "What did you get a voice from God?" I mean, how did you know? What did that just pop in your mind? The score of both of those games, and I mean, much less picking Cincinnati to beat the Chiefs when nobody else thought that was going to happen. And then as close as that game was with the Rams and the Niners, incredible to me.
The idea that to him to go 27-24 and 20-17 is nuts. Even on one of them would have been crazy. But every game you see, score predictions on a lot of pregame shows, generally not even close. I forget what our score predictions were, but I don't think either one of us turned out to be close like that. But that's the fun of it. Speaking of TV, I know you were in Vegas.
Yes.
So I don't know. I know you were watching the games, but
yes.
What the hell happened to the CBS halftime show?
Oh, well, I actually didn't see that until this morning. I guess the speakers were all jacked up and screwed up because you couldn't hear anybody talk right on the panel because the country singer was singing.
Well, and it was the Applebee's song, which is what pissed me off. I didn't realize
I love that song.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that was a real song. I thought it was written for a commercial.
No, it's a real song.
I did not realize that was a real song for whatever. I thought that was some jingle that was written for Applebee's and some guys out there singing it. I realize now Applebee's, I'm not a country guy. So I didn't realize that was an actual song.
But see, you got us country folk, right? When you're going out on a fancy date is what he's talking about. He's taking his date to Applebee's. That's the fancy place he's going to. And so Applebee's picked up on that, probably paid this guy $1 gazillion to use the song, and the rest is history. But it's a great song, right?
It's interesting to me.
It's a great song, Jason, isn't it?
It's interesting to me that CBS had that so screwed up to where everything that goes into these productions, and I thought at first that they had the whoever's running the sound was turning up the wrong button, lever, whatever, and we were getting the speakers as opposed to getting everybody's mic. How do you set that up and not know where the halftime entertainment is going to be?
Well, I mean, that comes down to all the people that they have behind the scenes, right, that are supposed to do that. But look, I've worked for, obviously, the CBS affiliate for the last 25 years, but that CBS pregame and halftime show is terrible. It's just not good.
True.
It's not good. Fox blows them away. There's no question about that. It's kind of like, and no offense to our great affiliate ESPN here, when you're looking at ESPN and TNT for the basketball TV, there's no comparison. And it's just, I don't know why the scales are so tipped when it comes to stuff like that.
It is. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those, the CBS show. But at what point do you just punt? At what point do you tell Jim and Tony, go back to the booth, put your sandwich down or whatever you're snacking on at halftime and get back to the booth? For them to let that go for that long and not just toss it to break and try to figure something else out is beyond me. Because
you couldn't
that was
hear
an
anything.
Embarrassment. It was awful.
It was terrible. It was terrible, but it may have been better than listening to the other guys yak. Can you imagine? I'm really happy the game is not on CBS this time around. Can you imagine Boomer Esiason and just glowing? The problem is we're going to have to listen to Chris Collinsworth
and his Bengals.
Yes. Well, and Boomer too. They may invite Boomer on the show. Who knows?
They won't do that. You'll be damn guaranteed that they won't do that.
Wow.
They won't do that. My buddy Hal just sent me a text. The Applebee's guy, he just recently played over at Chicken and Pickle.
Well, there you go.
I had no idea.
How about that?
Still don't know his name. He's the Applebee's guy.
He's the I don't know his name either, but
I thought you were a country music fan.
Look, I don't know
You're supposed
names.
to know these things.
I don't know names of songs or artists. I just know the song. It's the Applebee's song, and it's a catchy tune. Applebee's, by the way, has the best commercials. I don't know who they hired to do their stuff, but they're always good. Now they're using the Cheers song.
Are they really?
Everybody knows your name kind of thing. Yeah.
Huh.
So come on in. Sit down.
Walker Hayes is his name.
Walker Hayes. Okay. It was right on the tip of my tongue.
One guy listening that knew that. Everybody else just calls him the Applebee's guy. And it's scary because I have no idea who he is, but I was like, the things that when that thing first started, I was like, what are they doing? Is somebody running the audio at CBS with the Applebee's commercial somehow in queue that's coming out over the air? I mean, it was just a disaster, and they let it go. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Tomorrow, we will be on 103.3 FM, so change your presets. Add 103.3 to your presets. Do it now while you're thinking about it, because otherwise, instead of Rob and Rudy tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up listening to some great hip-hop music. Not the Applebee's guy, though. He won't find his way on to tomorrow. It will be We 94.5, and we will be on 103.3. They're going to make the switch somewhere around midnight tonight is what I'm told.
Were you singing that Applebee's song the rest of the night, weren't you?
Not really.
Yeah, you were. It was in your head.
I really.
It just rolls around in your head, and you just got to keep singing that thing.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works. The Moose, Daryl Johnston, will join us coming up at 5:30. There is some Cowboys news to talk about because there always is, and this involves Dak Prescott. We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you need your logo on gear, especially winter gear, and you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club down on San Pedro. Sam has his winter line on display right now in his showroom with the rodeo right around the corner. If you need jackets, coats, hoodies, half-zips, beanies with your logo on it, get into Sammy's. He's got all the big-name brands like North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Port Authority, and he has plenty of inventory in stock. Sam also has the largest selection of caps, including the popular Richardson style cap in stock. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. And at Sam's, it's not just embroidery. He could do silkscreen shirts as well for any occasion. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big, and all items do come with a warranty. Call Sammy's at 210-824-3900, or better yet, get into that massive showroom. It's on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410, right there next to Big Lots across from the McDonald's. You can't miss it. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
San Antonio Sports Star is headed to L.A. Get the latest news, moves, analysis, and world-class roster of guests all week leading up to the game.
To the next episode.
R&R in the morning, halftime, and the Blitz all live from Los Angeles.
Joining us now, the Moose, Daryl Johnston. We get to talk to Michael Irvin. DeMarcus Ware joining us now.
Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Big game coverage powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
When it comes to getting work done on your property, get the power, comfort, and quality you need by choosing Kubota compact construction equipment, like excavators, skid loaders, and track loaders. At Ewald Kubota, we have all the equipment you need, whether you're buying or renting. And we know you need the reliable, dependable equipment Kubota is known for. Right now, all new rental customers get 10% off their first rental. This is our way of saying welcome to your neighborhood Ewald Kubota dealership. For more information, visit ewaldkubota.com.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto. When you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get great savings and round-the-clock protection, which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Hey, team, it's a full house. We got to pick up the pace.
At Hank's Restaurant, the line goes around the block.
Is this for 12? Okay, I need the truffle oil drizzle.
What he needs is another line cook.
Oh, man. Are the quail breasts still in the sous vide? Dave, can you keep an eye on that, please?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a guy over 30 and feeling frustrated about your health, listen up. Not feeling yourself lately? Are work and relationships getting you down? Do you feel a lack of energy and focus on the things that matter to you most? All men around age 30 have the potential for their testosterone levels to decline naturally. When that happens, life can feel out of control. If that's you, then it's time to rethink your health with Synergenics Testosterone Replacement Therapy. For more info and to schedule an appointment, head over to 800lowt.com today and get your life back.
From the QC Kinetic Studio.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Joe Reinager, Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Soon to be on 103.3. And when I say soon, like tonight, like in 24 hours. Tomorrow on The Blitz. Well, we got a lot of big things happening tomorrow on The Blitz. First, we're all going to sound taller on 103.3.
Right.
Can we get a little breaking news?
This is breaking news from San Antonio Sports Star.
And also tomorrow, and another reason why you want to go ahead and make that 103.3 preset. Troy Aikman will join us on The Blitz tomorrow.
The
at
former
5:30.
Dallas Cowboy quarterback.
That is correct.
3-time Super Bowl champion.
That one.
That guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Haven't talked to Troy in a couple of years.
Well, we talked to him at training camp was the last time I talked to him back in Oxnard last summer. And love Troy Aikman because he tells you what he feels.
He does.
He does not hold back. And so that should be a very interesting conversation, to say the least.
When you look at and you think about all the different things we're going to talk to Troy about, he's got his new beer. It launches tomorrow. 8. I've had it. It's good. But you think about, having Troy Aikman on. Well, he wrapped up his broadcast season on Sunday with that great game, but it's going to be a lot of questions about Dak and some of the comments that he made. I want clarification from Troy Aikman on his comments after the playoff loss, talking about Michael Irvin would have had 10 catches at halftime if they would have played him.
Yep.
I want to know, is he being critical of Kellen Moore? Or was he being critical of Dak Prescott, or a combination of both?
Because we kind of disagreed a little bit about what we thought he meant by that. So it's going to be nice to go straight to the horse's mouth, so to speak, and find out exactly what he meant by that.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be, hell, it's Troy Aikman, right? I mean,
that's enough.
Yeah, that is enough. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, and you don't get to talk to Troy Aikman all the time, so this is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. So put a little calendar invite note to tune in to 103.3 FM.
You think I can ask him about Jimmy Garoppolo?
Sure.
And whether he thinks he's a good quarterback or not?
I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. Hell, he's been to a Super Bowl and an NFC championship game.
That's true.
I mean,
he was Tom Brady's understudy.
He was.
For what, 3 years?
There's been a lot of guys that have been Tom Brady's understudy over the last 20. I mean, one of them's the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
That's true.
That guy, as he used to say, he won a Super Bowl ring holding a clipboard like a champ.
You got to love this country, don't you? What a great country this is. Hey, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, a lot of guys have made a pretty good living holding a clipboard in the NFL.
Absolutely. And Garoppolo could go back to that, or he could be a starter somewhere. And again, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not. But there's that moment in the game where you just wait for the Jimmy G mistake. And I like to compare him to Ryan Tannehill. Not because you're a Titan fan and I'm taking a shot at your guy.
Fine.
But
yeah.
I look at, Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback of the number 1 seed in the AFC, right? But he's good for a couple of mistakes a game. And
or 3.
Well, in the championship game, it was 3, and that led to a cocky kicker eventually sending the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, when you look at that, I mean, Ryan Tannehill's not a great quarterback.
No,
but he's not an awful quarterback.
No, he's not. He's
and
not.
Neither is Jimmy G.
But man, well, when I look at what happened yesterday, and I see the hustle and the effort, I just think you get a guy like that. And I think there's been quarterbacks all over the league, from the beginning of football, that try so hard, and they just either don't have the tools or mentally they don't have it completely together, and they just make that one mistake that just costs you. But to see the want to in that guy yesterday, that's what I appreciate. That's kind of why I like Drew Eubanks so much, and I talk about him too. He just gets out there and he hustles for the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm not trying to switch gears, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like guys that get out there with a little passion, with a little just the effort, and they're going to make mistakes. And I still think Trey Sermon should have caught that ball.
Well, he probably should have. I think Tart should have intercepted the pass from Stafford, and it's a moot point. We're talking about a San Francisco-Cincinnati Super Bowl.
Well, and it should be. Wouldn't it be great if it would have a rematch, Tennessee and the Rams? That would have been awesome.
Sure. So you could come up a yard short?
Well, that's fine. Well, what a Super Bowl that was, right?
It was.
I mean, it was the greatest show on turf that they were going after with Kurt Warner and those guys. But it's just those little things.
You're not over it, are you?
I'm not over that. Especially that last interception. That was just pathetic. So I will criticize Ryan Tannehill. I still think he'll be the quarterback of the Titans next year. And he just hopefully learns that, with that football team, you don't have to win the game. You just don't make mistakes and you'll be okay.
And again, I go back to Jimmy G and the offense. Kyle Shanahan has now been a part of, the biggest meltdown in Super Bowl history. How many big leads has this guy blown? A 10-point lead in the fourth quarter of an NFC championship game. And watching the crew this morning on Get Up, I thought Orlovsky was going to lose his mind, and maybe Michael Irvin too, on with Stephen A, talking about Debo doesn't touch the ball one time in the final 8 minutes. That is your guy. And it's not like the Rams all of a sudden took him away and he wasn't available, because you could always hand it to him. It's one thing in the pass routes, but hand it to him. But I look at Matt Stafford, what a great story for him to change teams. OBJ, I mean, they were all in this year, but OBJ, his best game as a Ram. By the way, got $1 million bonus yesterday.
Nice. Well, good for him.
And he'll get another cool milli if they actually win the thing. But, for OBJ to do what he does, Cooper Kupp, they defended him pretty well early, but somehow that guy figured out how to get open late.
Dude, he always gets open.
Always.
He had 142 yards yesterday, and he dropped the pass that would have probably got him another 30.
If not a touchdown.
Not a touchdown. And the guy is just incredible the way he's open. And he and Stafford developed a relationship that is just fabulous. And now with OBJ, I mean, that only helps Cooper Kupp.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, so, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat. And I don't know who I like yet, but
we got 2 weeks to figure it out.
I just think they're going to be a tough team to beat. Again, I've said it all along. They're the most complete team left. And obviously there's only 2 left, but I think LA is the most complete team.
And as Micah Parsons tweeted yesterday, Cooper Kupp is the best player in the NFL.
And that was incredible. I saw that. And that's talent recognizing talent.
It's exactly what it is. And again, young superstar in Micah Parsons, who is going to be defensive rookie of the year. He's going to probably finish, what do you figure, second or third in defensive player of the year voting.
Right.
And had they finished the season stronger, maybe he does overtake TJ Watt. But I do like the Leonard guy with Indianapolis. And then, of course, you got Aaron Donald. So, I mean, but for Micah Parsons to be in that conversation at this point, Trayvon Diggs, what did he get today? Most improved player?
Most improved, yes.
Dan Quinn is staying.
He's the assistant coach of the year, too, by the way.
Joe Witt Jr., who was in line to replace Dan Quinn if he had taken a head coaching job, is going to interview for the Colts DC job. You see, all these coaches are starting to finally fill out a little bit. But I look at the Cowboys, where their defense is, and you would expect them to continue to get better with another year under Dan Quinn, whatever they decide to add in the offseason. Dak Prescott apparently has reworked his deal.
Yes.
Which you expect with a major contract like that. All these contracts are constantly reworked. Well, whatever they're doing is going to open up about $16 million in cap space for the Dallas Cowboys.
And that's awesome for them because they're going to need it. They've got a lot of free agents. And I think it was John Machota last week that told us he doesn't think that both Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence will be back. One of those guys will be gone.
I'm not so sure. The Cowboys have invested too much in Randy Gregory to let him walk after you finally get a good season out of him.
Right.
DeMarcus Lawrence is still an impactful player, even though his stats don't show the sack numbers that you want to see, but he's getting all the double teams. I'm more concerned on the receiver side with the injury to Michael Gallup. What does that do to whatever they were planning when it comes to Amari Cooper? CeeDee Lamb is going to the Pro Bowl. Can CeeDee step up and be a number one receiver? And when is Michael Gallup going to be healthy, and what happens to him? What if he gets a free agent deal? Is somebody going to money whip him, even though next year might be kind of a wash coming off the injury that he's coming off of? And Amari Cooper. Cooper's contract, as it sits right now, not looking good to be a part of the roster next year.
Right.
But if Amari loves it in Dallas, like he says, does he rework his deal to be a little bit more team friendly?
He could be, but back to Dak Prescott. This is what a leader does. And I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. This is what a leader does. You rework your contract to make sure that the team can go out and do what they need to do in the offseason. So props to Dak Prescott. Everybody hear that? Because I hate the Cowboys, obviously. That's what everybody says.
Here we go.
Props to Dak Prescott. The young man showed some leadership today.
It didn't cost any money. Look, you can, regardless of what you think of Dak on the field, I don't think anybody has ever questioned his leadership ability.
No, and he's a confident young man, that's for sure. But I think
he's one of those guys that people are just attracted to and they will follow.
You know what I think, though? When you look at, please, there's no comparison. I'm not making any comparisons to anybody.
He's on Twitter at JoeKens5. Get ready.
You look at a guy like a Joe Burrow, okay, a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen. Those guys play with a confidence that I didn't see from Dak, especially in that game against San Francisco.
I don't disagree with that. And it's interesting because when you look at the first 7 ball games last year, Dak played with so much confidence.
Yes.
He was not the same looking player when he came back from that one game that he missed with the calf.
Yep.
And everything was short. Now, they deny there was any kind of injury, but he got rid of the ball so fast as it was either a lack of trust in the offensive line, but nothing developed. I mean, the amount of plays, and I'm sure people have all the stats somewhere about explosive plays and passes 25 yards downfield that were just a part of the natural offense. Not talking about, scramble drills when you're trying to get a big play late, but just within the offense, it didn't seem like there was a lot of that. But we have seen, Patrick Mahomes yesterday in the second half looked rattled.
He did.
He looked rattled. He looked like Dak has looked.
Yeah.
If we're making those comparisons. Because there was something with the defense that he didn't like or whatever was going on. But yesterday's game, first half Mahomes versus second half Mahomes, was 2 different players.
It was. And I think the Cincinnati adjustments had something to do with that. I think they rattled him. And that's why I say I think Cincinnati's coaching staff bested Andy Reid in that second half. They made adjustments that Kansas City just did not react well to, and that's what happened.
I wonder how much, and to get into the mind and the psyche of a pro athlete, which I don't think you can ever question them. I look at like Nadal is a quirky dude off the court, but I mean, he could play tennis for 5.5 hours, but get him to pay attention to anything else for 5 minutes, and it doesn't seem possible, right?
Right.
But I do wonder, though, if the final play of the first half bothered Mahomes the rest of the game, because you let one get away. You made a boneheaded play, and you just wonder, was that just in the back of his mind when Cincinnati was able to, go from 21-3 to 21-10, that, all right, well, let's go get it back all in one play, and you can't do that, because
right.
Aside from the defenses, we've seen Patrick Mahomes make adjustments too. He just looked like a completely different guy. Like that play ruined the rest of the day for him. When you play golf and you have that really bad shot on the third hole and you just suck the rest of the round because you're thinking about the one. I just felt like Mahomes had that in his mind the rest of the game, as did everybody else on Kansas City. Coaching staff, the way they were calling everything. I give all the credit to Cincinnati, but I do feel like you never saw any kind of adjustment from Patrick Mahomes or the Chiefs in the second half. For an offense like that, you would think that they would.
You would think so. I mean, there had to be something. But I think you're right, because that was such a momentum killer. Even if you just walk away with 3 points there, you've got a 21-point lead going into halftime. But when you don't score, then all of a sudden you light a fire under Cincinnati that says, you know what? Here we go. This is the time. We stop them. We still have a shot. We didn't play well in the first half, but you know what? We're okay, and we can get it done. And the momentum all switched right there. Because, if again, Kansas City scores there, even if it's 3, they get the football back to start the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can make that a 10-point swing right there, right? And put 10 points, and then all of a sudden, it's 31-3, and then the game's over.
Well, and to a degree, the confidence that Cincinnati seems to play with. I mean, because what were they down to Tennessee, and they rallied back?
They led most of that game, if you'll remember.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, they led most of that game. Yeah.
So Tennessee had the lead, or no, Cincinnati had the lead.
Cincinnati had the lead most of that game.
All right, because somebody,
it was a lot of field goals. It wasn't big leads, but it was a lot of field goals.
Well, it's Tannehill. But when you look at Cincinnati, and maybe they were talking about they were down big the first time they played Kansas City just a couple of weeks ago, and they came back. There just does feel like there is this confidence within that team that even when they're down, they don't give up. Part of me wonders, in a situation like that, are they the kind of team, once they're down, who gives up? Let's just go play ball.
Yeah, it could be.
Mindset, because they're just out of it. I mean, at 21-3, I don't know how many people were thinking Cincinnati had a comeback in them to make it a game. I know some people, Rudy J, that were tweeting that it was over. And he wasn't alone. A lot of people were.
But he was tweeting that before the game started. I think his tweet was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rudy, that it was the AFC Championship game was played between Buffalo and Kansas City.
It was.
And everybody knew that Cincinnati didn't have a chance and Kansas City was on their way.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people felt that way. Although I think Rudy says his account was hacked.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Anytime you have a dumb tweet, you just scream hacked.
Hacked, right? Yeah. It was hacked.
It was hacked. I was hacked.
Hey, look, I put my money where my mouth was yesterday. And
Rudy J watching on Facebook Live saying he was hacked.
I know you were, Rudy. I know you were. But I took Kansas City minus the 7 points. And granted, I was feeling pretty good when it was 21-3, but I was screaming at the big screen that I was watching yesterday at the sports book going, what kind of a play was that?
It was so dumb. And again, I had, Cincinnati in 7.5. So I felt pretty good most of the day.
Yeah.
When that comeback was coming, but early on, I thought I was out of it.
Yeah.
And then San Francisco at 3.5, and I took them figuring that was going to be a field goal game. But when San Francisco was up 10, obviously I'm going to win the bet at that point, but I just couldn't believe how well San Francisco played in that game. And no, it doesn't make me feel better as a Cowboy fan that they did the same thing to the Rams because they came back. And again, kind of like against Dallas, Jimmy G with a dumb play allowed Dallas back in. Jimmy G with a dumb play eliminated his San Francisco team. But that dropped interception by Tart is the play that, everybody on the Rams needs to donate to his charity, send him some tips, treats, or something. They just need in the offseason. This week, you send the guy the cookies. This week, you send the guy, because if he catches that ball, San Francisco's in the Super Bowl.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be a good Super Bowl. I really believe that because I like both of these quarterbacks. The defense for the Rams, but I got to say Cincinnati's defense is okay too. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to a good football game.
Yeah, I do worry about the defensive line for the Rams just destroying the Cincinnati offensive line.
Well, if Tennessee got to him 9 times, I can see the Rams doing the same thing.
Although, did the Rams get one sack yesterday? No sacks yesterday. I mean, they forced some bad plays, but I'm trying to think what they were able to do.
Oh, my goodness. We got some goodies just walked through the door.
Dennis Foley. See, generally speaking, you don't walk into a booth but if he's got snacks, we wave them in.
Absolutely.
I don't know where they're from, but
what are those?
Grab a microphone. Pledge might turn it on.
There he is.
Dennis Foley from KTSA News.
Hey, how you guys doing, by the way?
Good.
Doing good.
Yeah, excellent. It's a great question.
Yeah. So are we like the guinea pigs then?
Oh, I mean, clearly other people have been the guinea pigs.
Right now over there.
Yeah.
Oh, Pledge will eat anything.
Yeah, Pledge will eat anything. We know that.
Well, that's why we make sure we stop by here because we got things to unload. We know someone in the building will take it off our hands.
Are these from a KTSA listener?
Arguably, sure.
Arguably,
yeah.
Because I'm like, if it's a Rima listener, I'm a little unsure about these.
Well,
you never know.
Well, actually, it is from a local politician's office.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, these are from Jose?
Yes.
Oh,
right.
well, that's okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
fine.
if I didn't try, I would not put you guys.
So it's just not some random person that showed up and dropped off food.
I'm going to take a little sugar cookie right here.
Yeah.
All right.
What
So
do you
are you
think?
leaving all of those? Or are we supposed to? So you guys,
it's your problem.
You guys don't
something.
want them. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it? All right. There we go. So these are all for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, outstanding.
I'm a little worried that you guys are just willingly giving up snacks.
Well, you see,
especially Katie.
I can't eat them, so that's why I'm getting them out of the newsroom.
Oh,
They brought 2 trays. I ate one already.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
Katie from the Meta.
And we're trying to keep it away from some of the staff members as well. Gotta
really
have that afternoon privilege, right?
Arnie.
Oh, we were
trying to keep it away from Arnie.
We already stopped by his office.
Oh, really?
He was trying to make a deal with us on it. Cookies.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you didn't come here first?
No, we actually did. We did.
Hold on.
Oh,
hold
that
on.
man on the other side of the glass.
You went to Arnie first.
No, actually, we went to the other side of the glass first, and
Again.
I asked him, "Hey, when's their next break coming up?" He's like, 15 minutes. I'm like, screw that. I'm going around the rest of the building, and there are probably more appreciative people in the building that'd be more than happy to have those cookies.
I'm actually surprised there's people in the building at 522.
Yeah, that is also true.
Yeah,
That's very true.
I mean, because I know the only guy that's ever here on the sales side is Arnie because he's got 5 kids at home. So
yeah.
Everybody else is gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's completely understandable. So
This
yeah,
is
I was a
great
little
stuff.
concerned trying to unload them, but I'm
All right.
glad you guys are here, and great having you guys in the building, especially at this time when we got stuff to give away.
That's great.
That's
Well,
awesome.
I'm happy we're here
Appreciate it.
too. Absolutely.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you,
Well,
Katie.
I'm
Dennis
not
Foley.
I'm not the senator.
You're not a
but-
senator.
No. No.
Yet. I like
Maybe
that, Katie.
someday.
I don't know. Even that. Ugh.
Yeah. We
I
got
got
it.
allergies. That's among them.
Well, thank you.
You're allergic to politics.
What was a
Yeah,
nice-
you're
it
in
was a nice
talk-
treat.
News talk radio. That makes sense. Appreciate it. Well, hey, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's a great cookie.
You've barely eaten it, man. You're breaking that up like a little girl. What are you doing?
Well, I don't want to put it all in there. I still got to talk, right? Although, I don't know, maybe some people out there that say, it's okay, Joe, eat away.
Well, look. All right, take a drink of water. Clear your throat. I'm going to eat one of these.
Okay.
Tell me about Stevens Roofing.
I would love to tell you about Stevens Roofing. I'll tell you what, now, let me tell you something. I went down there, Jason, and the minute I walked in the door at Stevens Roofing, I felt like family. I mean, it was the treatment was spectacular. It really was. I sat down, you want some coffee, you want some snacks, whatever. And it wasn't just me. Everybody that came in the door got the same treatment, and you just felt right at home. I tell you what, Stevens Roofing is an incredible place. They've been serving the people of South Texas for a long time. They're family-owned, a local company, certainly not fly-by-night. And you got to worry about roofing companies that just come in after a hailstorm. That's not Stevens Roofing. They're licensed by the city of San Antonio. Whether you want commercial, residential, doesn't matter. Metal, composition, doesn't matter. They're going to give you a free estimate. Financing is available. And here's the best part, because this is something you don't want to do, right? They'll work with your insurance company. You don't have to mess with that. They'll do that. They guarantee their work in writing, and they're going to stand behind everything that they do. Stevens Roofing, it's your local roofer. They've got your family covered.
Good job, Joe.
Thanks, Jason.
The Moose, Daryl Johnston, joins us next. Mondays with the Moose after Sports Center from James Pledger.
Way to go, Joe. We'll start things off in the NBA, where the San Antonio Spurs fell to the Phoenix Suns 115-110 last night. The Spurs were without DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and Jakob Poeltl in that loss, as Doug McDermott led the way with 24 points, going 6 of 9 from three-point land. Lonnie Walker had 22 off the bench. Keldon had 16, Trey Jones 15, and the rookie, Josh Primo, well, he added 13. They'll return to action tomorrow when they take on the Warriors. In the NFL, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb was named to his first Pro Bowl, as he will replace Rams wideout Cooper Kupp. Lamb joins 5 other Cowboys on the Pro Bowl roster, which will take place this Sunday in Las Vegas. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson, owner of the Thompson Law Firm right here in San Antonio. And for the past 27 years, I have represented people in our community who have been injured because of negligent drivers of cars, 18-wheelers, and company vehicles. I really want you to know that if you're involved in a collision, you need to contact an experienced attorney as soon as possible after the collision. All you may know about an insurance company is what you see on television. If you have ever been forced to make a claim after being injured in an auto collision, there are no jokes, no geckos, no cavemen, no professional athlete endorsers. Just you against a giant insurance company that is represented by skilled adjusters and attorneys who have one job: pay as little as possible. If you've been injured in a collision, please contact an experienced attorney as soon as possible after the collision. I, of course, want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website, alawyerforus.com. That's all one word, alawyerforus.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo, and auto security headquarters has discounts piled to the ceiling. That's right, every store, Austin and San Antonio, and especially the Bandera Road store in San Antonio has discounts on everything. Car stereos, car alarms, and especially the window tint you want. Dark, dark, dark window tint. Also, make your car go thump, 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 mother thump with new subwoofers and an amplifier. That's right. We can even hook it up to your existing factory car stereo. Get to Mother's Window Tint today. Check us out online at motherswindowtint.com or give us a like and a follow on Facebook. Tell your friends. Come on in. We've got those discounts stacked to the ceiling at Mother's Window Tint. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
No one covers the Bengals and Rams more than a little sports station down in San Antonio, Texas. Always have. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minutes. Time for Mondays with the Moose.
Love Mondays because of this.
Daryl Johnston, former Cowboy, three-time Super Bowl champ, analyst with Fox Sports, joining us now. Daryl, always appreciate the time, man. I tell you what, those games yesterday it ultimately lived up to the billing from what we saw a week ago with the excitement level after the Bengals rallied from down 21-3.
Yeah, it was going to be hard to top divisional weekend, but they did a nice job on conference championship weekend. Even though, but yeah, at one point, we had an 18-point deficit in Kansas City, Cincinnati, and a 10-point deficit in the Rams-Niners, and especially with the Niners in that situation. Gosh, that's the second time they've done that. You know, going back to that Super Bowl when they had the 10-point lead, late third, early fourth, and you just think they're going to be able to run that clock out and kill that game, and they don't pull it off.
All kinds of things we can talk about in both of those games, Daryl. But it seemed like, and I'm going to the Kansas City game, when they didn't score there at the end of the half, they just seemed like a different team in the second half. Did you see it that way, or was it more about what Cincinnati did?
You know, you question the decision afterwards because it didn't work out. It was an aggressive play call. It's either going to be 28-10 or it's going to be 21-10 going in when you make that call. Do you want to get to 24-10? Just take the chip shot field goal. Those are things that are going to be debated. But I don't think, everybody will always say that, Andy Reid has always struggled with clock management. That one didn't have anything to do with clock management. That was just aggressive play calling. It's if it works, he's a genius, and when it doesn't work, everybody's going to question him. So I do think it was a big letdown, especially because Cincinnati had just scored on their previous possession, to get it to 21-10 from 21-3. So maybe that was some of the thought process of Andy is I'm going to get that touchdown back as we go into halftime, because I think if they score there, it's going to be a different second half. Now I'm not a big believer in the fact that you walk in at halftime, spend 12 minutes, and you sort out what Kansas City's doing offensively. I don't know what the switch was that flipped in the second half. I think you always have to put some of that on the Kansas City offense as well as they executed in the first half. I don't think they did in the second half, but you can't take anything away from Lou Anarumo and what they did defensively for Cincinnati. So I do think it does play into it, because football, it's a game of momentum shifts. It's an emotional game. And in that situation at the end of the half, both of those things worked against Kansas City. So definitely was going to impact them coming out second half.
When we hear coaches, Daryl, talk about halftime adjustments, or analysts talk about halftime adjustments, the Bengals, according to the NFL Next Gen stats, dropped 8 in coverage, 45% of their defensive sets in the second half, and they only did that 25% of the time in the first half. So how many series does Kansas City see them dropping 8 and they go, okay, well, that's what they're doing, so we need to do this? Because Mahomes did look like a different player in the second half.
Well, and if you're rushing 3 and dropping 8, that means you're covering a little bit longer. Mahomes had a ton of time, but you could see that he really couldn't find anybody, which I was surprised about because, Tyreek Hill is one of the guys that's out there running around. And for Cincinnati to be able to keep him in coverage to the point where Patrick Mahomes didn't feel comfortable of turning that loose to him, that's pretty impressive. And that's across the board. Travis Kelce, they've got dynamic people on the outside. So that's your whole thing when you roll the dice with rushing 3 and dropping 8 is can you cover long enough until your 3-man pressure makes an impact on somebody. I'm surprised that they were that heavy at 45%, but you did see a lot of it and you heard the announcers talking about it. But you have to credit the back end of Cincinnati's defense because they started to get there a little bit. I think some of the linebackers, whether they were spying Mahomes or just kind of shadowing Mahomes, but every once in a while, some of those guys would kind of, trigger and come in when they saw an opportunity, to get to the quarterback through an open lane. So I think there was some adjustments that the players did during the course of that second half as well, too, that it was a 3-man pressure, but they were adding that 4th guy late. And was that 4th guy the guy that was responsible for Mahomes anyways? So it was very impressive what they did, holding them under 100 yards in the second half.
Daryl, obviously everybody's going to talk about the quarterback matchup in the Super Bowl with Stafford and Burrow, but we know the Rams have a pretty good defense. That pass rush is going to be a problem, I think, for Burrow. But are we underestimating maybe Cincinnati's defense?
I think so, because we had them in week 1. So, we read all the offseason, acquisitions and really what the plan was. And, obviously they draft Jamar Chase. They've got Joe Burrow coming back. They already have Higgins and Boyd. Uzama, I think they had a good feel for Uzama coming through the spring, that he was going to be a player. The one area that they were a little bit uncertain with, I think we've seen that all through the course of the season, was the offensive line. And everything else after that point was defense. Free agency was $100 million spent on defensive players. Brought in Trey Hendrickson, adding people to the secondary. Chidobe Awuzie comes in. They really focused on the defense. And I remember talking to Von Bell that week, getting ready for the opener, and he said, we've got really good guys that get it. We communicate well. We're in year 2. He goes, I think we're going to be a very underrated defense. I think we've got the potential to be really, really good. And they have. They've grown all year. Now, they've had bumps. There's been a couple of games where they haven't played that well, and that's to be expected with a group like that. But this was a concerted effort by that organization to get better defensively. I don't know how you can underrate them because they've earned the right to be respected. They've done some good things. Some of those Baltimore games, and Baltimore gives people fits, and they swept them this year. They swept the Steelers. They did some good things this year, and a lot of it was that defense. And then when you're getting the ball back to that offense, and Jamar Chase is as explosive as he is, and that wide receiver group is pretty special on their own right. It was an impressive team. We walked away from that game thinking that it was definitely not the 4-12 Cincinnati Bengals that people were going to see this year, but kind of funny, that game ended on an overtime field goal by Evan McPherson. And if you go back and look at what Evan McPherson has done during the course of the season, he's really the reason Cincinnati is where they are right now. He had they gave Cincinnati the AFC North crown. It gave them their path to the Super Bowl. So just a great job of the organization, going in the 5th round and taking a kicker at that stage.
It's going to be interesting to see if more teams would spend a draft pick for a reliable kicker like Jerry. Maybe we'll see. Daryl Johnston joining us here on the Blitz for Mondays.
Got anybody in mind there, Jason?
Just thinking how great it would. And I love the acquisition of Greg the Leg, but would he miss a kick in 8 of the games this year? That's like half. That's one of those things. As you think about the Super Bowl matchup between the Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, the Rams have a lot of veteran players, and many were in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They have that experience. And you look at, especially with the star players on Cincinnati offensively, a lot of young players had some big moments in college, but this is the Super Bowl. This is the NFL. You go back to your first Super Bowl trip with the Cowboys. You guys were that young team with a lot of young superstars. who has an advantage? Is there an advantage for either the Rams or the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of experience and age being something that gives you an advantage. I mean, if that was true, I mean, Buffalo would never have played the way they played in that first Super Bowl against us. That was their third consecutive, and we were the youngest team in the NFL. So if you were to go by that logic, it should have been 52-17 the other way. So it really just boils down to, who plays well that day, who's prepared the best, who doesn't make the critical mistake. I really think, when people talk about playoff football and what makes it different, and, we always talk about the finality of that, the culmination of the season, and that just puts so much more importance on everything you do. So every big play is that much bigger, but also every negative play is that much more detrimental. So I don't think this is going to be a situation as to which team doesn't lose. I think they're both good enough where it's going to be about one of these teams winning the football game, but the mistakes will be amplified. And that's the one thing I think when you have a younger team that you might look at it from the standpoint of, well, they would be the team that would be most likely to make the mistake. But our team didn't do that. We weren't the one turning the football over all afternoon that day against Buffalo. So it's all about execution. And that's the hard thing about Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, that's what's going to follow him around, the rest of his career is in 6 games in the fourth quarter, 6 playoff games in the fourth quarter. He has not played well at the most critical time of the game. And as a quarterback, and if you're trying to become one of the elite quarterbacks, that is your time to shine. That is when you take the game over. And Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't been able to do that in his opportunities with San Francisco.
In your experience, Daryl, because I look at Garoppolo and I see a lot of passion from the guy, I see a lot of hustle. He's really trying out there to make something happen. But you're right. I mean, it just doesn't seem to happen in the most crucial times of the game. But you look at that guy play. Is there a possibility that he learns that or has the ability to snap out of that perhaps for the remainder of his career?
Anything's possible, but we've definitely got it's history, right? I mean, it's happening time and time again, and in the big games, championship games, Super Bowls, against Kansas City. I know Kansas City is an explosive offense, and maybe a 10-point lead isn't all that big of a deal, but he did not play well. I mean, he was not running the offense efficiently at that time. And that's a team that's kind of, it's run first, it's RPO. They're not asking you, to throw it all over the field and throw it down the field to win that game. You're up 10, it's really about managing that clock and burning that clock and, playing the field position game. Don't give Kansas City a short field, just like you don't give the Rams a short field on Sunday. So I don't know what it is. I really don't, because when you meet them, you really like him and you want to cheer for him, and all the guys love him. I mean, he's one of those guys, and you can't say enough about a guy who handled himself the way he did under the circumstances this year when San Francisco goes out and gives up what they gave up to go get Trey Lance. And then it doesn't even bother you. And you stay nose to the grindstone and you keep grinding, you keep working, and you become the guy that leads your team to the NFC Championship game. But then again, that thing comes back and you just can't get over that hump. You can't get your team through it in the fourth quarter.
And again, I mean, I think about so many moments in that game yesterday. The dropped interception that probably seals it for San Francisco. And we could talk about Jimmy G and his play down the stretch. Kyle Shanahan has now also coached some pretty big blown leads. But I look at Debo last touched the ball with, 8 minutes to go and never saw the ball again. How does that happen?
Yeah, well, maybe we need to credit the defense of the Rams, because, you get into those situations and the big cry is, hey, Debo Samuel's not going to beat us today. Let's make somebody else beat us. He's the one guy that we can't let beat us. And that's, that's the defensive mentality. Who are the big playmakers? Who are the go-to guys in the critical moments? And don't let that be the person that wins this game. Make somebody else do something. And that was the greatness of Michael Irvin, because he was our guy that rose to the level of the situation and wanted the ball at the most critical times. And the defense knows that. And yet they still couldn't stop him. He still made, some of the biggest plays at the most critical times. So I think we have to credit probably the Rams a little bit for taking Debo out of the game. I don't think Kyle Shanahan would get away from him as a play caller because he knows how important he is. But there are some things you can do that are simple, right? We see him on the jet sweeps. Hey, if they're taking away in the passing game and Jimmy Garoppolo just doesn't feel like that window's there, there's other ways for us to get the ball to Deebo Samuel, and he's been awful effective that way. So that's the big thing for me is in today's game with these wide receivers that are kind of, transitioning into these really, really multifaceted, talented guys on the offensive side of the ball. It's not just through the air. I mean, these guys are scheming up plays to get them the football in an easier way to get them started. And that was one of the things I thought, in Dallas's game, to me, one of the most important things they had to do was get CeeDee Lamb involved in the game early and play off that emotion that he brings to the game. And they weren't able to do that. And there's ways to do that. It's not that hard. It doesn't have to be a 15-yard completion down the field. Give him the ball on a jet sweep, give him the ball on a jailbreak screen, and let him generate that excitement with the way he plays the game.
Daryl, you had to make that agonizing decision as to when you were going to walk away from the game. What is Tom Brady thinking right now, you think?
$5 million question. I think he's in Jason Light's office right now asking him, how many guys can we bring back next year? Where are we at salary cap wise? What is this team going to look like? Do we have a shot? Are we a legitimate contender? I think that those are the things that he's trying to figure out right now. Because at his age, hey, I said I was going to play till I'm 45. But that's when you're in New England and everything is rolling along. Well, now you've made a change, and now you're down in Tampa, and you guys kind of pushed everything to the center of the table in the NFC. I mean, you went out, you brought back every starter from that Super Bowl team. You brought back all the specialists, and you brought back 3 to 5 of the key backups. I mean, that was almost the exact same team coming back to defend their Super Bowl title. Now they got hit by injuries and some other things happened during the course of the year, but that was a big thing of why Tom is there. And if he did sign a 2-year contract, I think his biggest question now is how much personnel are we going to lose? What are we going to look like next season? Do I have the pieces in place around me to really legitimately get back to the conference championship game and make a push for one more Super Bowl?
The Moose, Daryl Johnston, joining us here on the Blitz Mondays with the Moose. Daryl, before we let you go, knucklehead question, which I know you kind of expect this from me. But Troy Aikman's going to be on the Blitz tomorrow at 5:30 with his new beer 8 coming out. What's a good Troy Aikman nugget that most of us aren't going to know about, but his friends are going to know? That's safe for you to share with us to ask him tomorrow that kind of will blow him away.
You may have to let me think on this and text you.
Okay.
Yeah, let me think on it now, and I'll shoot you a text. But I got my little package of 8 today in the mail. So I've got four lovely cans of 8 that are sitting in my refrigerator right now, and I'm looking forward to having one soon.
Get them cold. They're good.
The amazing thing about him, the thing with him is, he is such a perfectionist that this has been a 2-year process for him. He does things one way, which is the right way. And I really can't wait to have my first sip, just because I know how much time and energy and effort he's put into this. And I know it's going to be outstanding. And I am a bold beer drinker. I am a stout. I am an ale. I am a lager. I am not, the type of beer that this is. But I know it's going to be fantastic. I mean, the taste of it, I know he's going to have figured it out, how to get that bold taste with the reduction in calories and carbs.
It's going to be a good beer. And I think about some of those from that we've shared at the Friendly Spot. You drink stuff that I don't even want to try, man. You need a fork and knife.
The Friendly Spot. Oh my gosh. There we go. What a great little space.
Good stuff. Daryl, will we see you next week in LA?
No, I'm going to be too tied up with everything with the USFL. We've got some big dates coming up here, and still got a lot of work to do. So yeah, I'm going to be tied up making sure that we get this thing the best that it possibly can be. I mean, not only for the fans at home watching on TV, but for the guys. I really, the most important thing for me in these types of leagues is to make sure the guys have fun. And one of the greatest compliments we got, from our guys in San Antonio, they would tell us, this is the most fun I've had playing football since I was in high school. And we want everybody in the USFL to have that same experience this time around. So we're working as hard as we possibly can to make sure that all 8 teams in Birmingham have a great couple of months there through the course of the season.
Well, I tell you what, I know we'll talk to you next week as we get ready for the Super Bowl, but as we get closer and closer to kickoff for the new gig, we'll certainly have you on and help spread the word, because we're kind of angling maybe in year 2 to have a team here.
Yeah. Well, you should be. I mean, there's not a market in the country that deserves that, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I will always be grateful to the support we got in San Antonio with our Commanders team, and our guys feel the same way.
Absolutely,
it was unbelievable, and we were the envy of the league. We were the envy of the league. Everybody I talked to.
Good stuff, Daryl. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the 8 beer.
Absolutely, and I'll have a nugget for you.
Perfect. Daryl Johnston, the Moose. Mondays with the Moose, always fun catching up with Daryl. We're way late for the break. Back with more of the Blitz after this here on San Antonio Sports Star. If you're dealing with any issues at the house with your plumbing, your heating, your AC, there is one company to call, and that is Quarter Moon at 210-651-5899. At Quarter Moon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quarter Moon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to L.A. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Was the guy who wrecked the company vehicle distracted because he was too busy making a TikTok video instead of watching the road? He still only has 2 followers, his mom and dad. But now you're hurt and need help. If you or a loved one is hurt in a wreck, don't call just any dude. Call the dude. The personal injury dude. Mark Poling at Poling Law PLLC at PIDude.com. That's PIDude.com. Or call 210-201-0303 24 hours a day.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/radar. Head to netsuite.com/radar for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/radar.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special designer trunk shows, and the return of our most popular offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Now through Valentine's Day, we teamed up with the nation's most sought-after designers with a spectacular selection of affordable and timeless gifts. And with 5 years, 0 interest financing, you can go big. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings and you pay $50 a month, or a $4,000 diamond tennis bracelet for just $67 a month. It's a fact. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. We'll help you find the ideal gift at the best price, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Visit us in-store now or shop online for some great romantic gift ideas at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On approved credit.
Guys, did you know that starting around age 30, men's testosterone levels can decline naturally? As a result, you may experience low energy, lack of focus, problems in the bedroom, or even depression. If that's you, then it's time to rethink your health. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy with Synergenics. It's easy. Just take the test at one of our clinics in the San Antonio area. For more info and to schedule an appointment, head over to 800lowt.com today and get your life back.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to LA. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Don't mind the brake lights. We'll get you there. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Tomorrow we will be on 103.3 FM. Adjust your presets. Add 103.3 to that preset dial. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. On Twitter, he is at JoeKens5. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. I just saw something on Twitter. Pledge is still here. Apparently, Schoening called in. I don't know. They call in sick, or he just needed a day?
As far as I know, needed a day.
All right. Well, whatever.
Oh, so you're working another marathon day, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
And you were in Houston over the weekend.
I was.
Were you in Houston when you got the call from Schoening that he needed today? Huh. Good for you.
It's a long drive into a long day.
He's an Iron Man, this guy.
Pledge,
for sure.
That's the way he likes it.
He likes it that way.
So I ran into his roommate at the Rue Pub on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, I had to do shots because she always does. So
always,
we
right?
did one for Pledge.
I met her the other night, too. Yeah, sure did.
Good stuff. You were in Vegas the other night while I was at the Rue.
I was in Vegas. And it's always fun to go to Vegas. I mean, come on. How can you not have fun? The blackjack tables were not good to me, though. They were not. I'm just going to put that out there.
That comes with the territory. I know a lot of people that are listening right now are going to go to Vegas in a week. They're going to be there for Super Bowl weekend.
It's crazy. I've been there once for that.
Dude, I haven't in so long because, we go to the Super Bowl every year. In fact, next week we're going to be in LA for our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. The idea of Vegas right now, and I know I'm going in a month, less than a month now. Everybody that I know that's been talking to me about going to Vegas, they want to know one thing. What is the current mask policy? And again, I know what I can go find online, but what's really happening?
Well, obviously, officially, right? They've got signs up everywhere that they're required regardless of vaccination status. But it's about half and half, Jason, honestly. Some people were walking around maskless. Some had masks on, and nobody really ever, I didn't wear a mask very often. And nobody ever said anything to me, except when I sat down at the blackjack table. They require a mask to sit there and play blackjack, but there's no petitions.
Okay.
And you can have a full table.
So it's not every other chair.
It's not every other chair. So it's basically all but back to normal. But at least the casino we were at didn't really enforce the mask rule other than at a blackjack table or walking into a restaurant. You got to have it on before you sit down because, COVID's up high. It's not down low.
Once you sit down, you're safe.
You're safe, yeah.
In a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
It is interesting. All right, because I know. So when you were watching the game in the sports book yesterday, were you with the mask or without?
Without.
Okay, good.
I was without.
Everybody I know that's planning a Vegas trip right now, what's the mask rule?
It's what you want to do.
We know what we can see
right
online, but who's been there?
I mean, and when I'm playing slots, no mask, and nobody said a word.
That's because you're playing slots.
Maybe that's it. I've gotten to enjoy slots though because there's always that chance at that jackpot. Ding 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 ding.
You've hit that age group.
Man, hey, dude, I've hit the age group where I just want to win a jackpot, okay? Just one.
Just one. Joe Burrow hit the jackpot yesterday. Dude's going to the Super Bowl in year number 2. We'll talk about the Super Bowl matchup when we continue here on the Blitz. And you start thinking about the grilling that you're going to have for Super Bowl Sunday, you got to have some kielbasa as a part of that mix. Whether you're talking about the great kielbasa sausage, maybe the kielbasa bacon, you could do some pig shots where you use both the bacon and the sausage and have a great time, because it's not a barbecue, it's not a party unless you've got kielbasa as a part of your mix. And just know that anytime you're buying kielbasa, you're helping others. They're a great local San Antonio company that's grown into a great national company, but they take care of their hometown. This past year alone, kielbasa has donated more than 2 tons of sausage to the San Antonio Food Bank through their Links of Love program. And with that Links of Love program, they help food banks, they help in disaster relief efforts. But when you get your kielbasa sausage and you're enjoying the best, you're also helping others enjoy that same great sausage, and those others are going through it. You can learn more about the Links of Love program on their website, kielbasa.com. It's Super Bowl time. It's big game time. You need to get the sausage, get the bacon. Maybe you do something with the chorizo. You want a big breakfast that day, get those maple breakfast links. Just make sure you get into the store and get yourself some kielbasa today.
San Antonio Sports Star is headed to L.A. Get the latest news, moves, analysis, and world-class roster of guests all week leading up to the game.
To the next episode.
R&R in the morning, halftime, and the Blitz all live from Los Angeles.
Joining us now, the Moose, Daryl Johnston. We get to talk to Michael Irvin. Marcus Ware joining us now.
Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Big game coverage powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson, owner of the Thompson Law Firm right here in San Antonio. And for the past 27 years, I have represented people in our community who have been injured because of negligent drivers of cars, 18-wheelers, and company vehicles. I really want you to know that if you're involved in a collision, you need to contact an experienced attorney as soon as possible after the collision. All you may know about an insurance company is what you see on television. If you have ever been forced to make a claim after being injured in an auto collision, there are no jokes, no geckos, no cavemen, no professional athlete endorsers, just you against a giant insurance company that is represented by skilled adjusters and attorneys who have one job: pay as little as possible. If you've been injured in a collision, please contact an experienced attorney as soon as possible after the collision. I, of course, want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website, alawyerforus.com. That's all one word, alawyerforus.com.
Water stains on the shower glass. Try rubbing some shaving cream on them.
Tyler's cleaning crew knows every housekeeping trick in the book.
Handling timesheets now.
But they need a proper bookkeeper to keep finances tidy.
New equipment is a business expense, right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you fill your prescriptions at Walgreens, you can track the progress of your order in real time. Know the price of your prescriptions before you go to pick them up. And anytime you have questions, use Pharmacy Chat to ask an expert 24 hours a day. Help with your meds from Walgreens. Side effects may include breathing a little easier because your prescription stress melted away. Learn more on the Walgreens app.
This price isn't final. This is an estimated price based on your insurance coverage.
I need postcards printed and designed. Oh, and a targeted direct mail campaign.
It's possible at Staples.
I need my presentation printed, bound, and perfect.
Also possible with Staples Print Big Promise. Your small business marketing will make a big impact. And right now, get 20% off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
From the QC Kinetic Studio.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Joe Reinagle, Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing as always. Two quick things, Joe.
Okay.
Set your preset right now to 103.3.
I've got it done.
This is the last hour of local programming. for ESPN on 94.5.
Yes.
Tomorrow, 5:30, Troy Aikman's going to be on the Blitz.
5:30 p.m.
5:30 p.m.
Yes.
Not a.m.
Not a.m.
Not a.m.
Because it's not the Blitz at 5:30 a.m., right?
2 plus 2.
It's
huh?
okay.
He's smart.
I'm blonde. What can I do?
That is a blonde joke, isn't it? Wow.
Yes, that was yeah.
That was I haven't slept, dude. I was in Vegas over the weekend.
Yeah, I
You
don't
want
know,
me to think straight?
Dude, plane flew in at 12:20 last night or this morning.
So you were on the 8 o'clock flight.
8 o'clock flight
out of Vegas.
Yes.
Is it scary that I know the flight times out of Vegas?
No, it's good, and you got to get those, direct flights, right? I mean, because if not, it's an all-day affair.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And what I don't understand on Southwest, it costs more to not be on the direct flight.
I know. That's nuts.
It's like I'm buying a one-way here, and then I'm buying a one-way there, and they put it all in there. I don't understand the pricing model sometimes on Southwest when, one, the direct flight might be $200 cheaper than the non-direct flight.
I'm fine with that.
Why? I can fly. I can get where I'm going in 2 hours and 24 minutes for $280, or for $464, I can go to Denver, spend 2 hours at their airport bar, and then fly over to Salt Lake City and spend a couple hours at their airport bar. It's got a wonderful view, and then get into Vegas 8.5 hours later.
Yeah, it's an all-day thing.
Why would anybody do that?
I don't know, especially if it's more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Unless the, unless the nonstops are sold out, I guess. I don't know. My question is, and I know this is probably going to look bad on me.
Okay.
When are they going to start serving alcohol again on planes?
That's a great question.
I mean, seriously, especially going to Vegas.
Well,
right. You have a couple drinks in the bar at the airport. You're all ready to go. And then nothing for 2.5 hours.
Now, I think some airlines are serving again, right?
In first class.
In first class.
Yes.
All right. I'm too damn cheap.
Well, Southwest doesn't have a first class.
Well, it's called A-list. You get in the first 8 rows.
Does that get you a drink?
No, but you get served faster.
Ginger ale.
Yeah.
Or water.
Water.
Yeah.
In the snack mix.
Uh-huh. That's great.
But as we learned Friday at Texas Cheer Liquor, you can, in a Ziploc bag, take 8 bottles per person of the little one-shot bottles, the mixers, whatever you call them. I never heard that before. Friday. Then a guy that is a big-time listener that works for one of the airlines, not Southwest, said, no, that's true. So my niece is on her way flying somewhere to go to a wedding. So I told her, hey, you know what I learned? And she was like, I didn't know that. I've snuck them on. I just thought I was being cool by getting them through TSA, having them in my bag. But she didn't pay full attention to the part that you got to do whatever you're going to do with those prior to getting on the plane. Don't open them on the plane because they frown upon that.
Yes, they do.
So she found that out the hard way.
So she opened one on the plane.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, the flight attendants aren't, you could probably get away with that, couldn't you?
All they told her was, hey, you're not supposed to have that on the plane.
Oh, you just can't have it on the plane.
Well, you're not allowed to open it and drink it on the plane. As she was pouring it into the 7-Up or whatever they had just bought her.
Yes.
Because she was dumb enough to mix it while the lady was there
getting
it
the flight
all ready.
attendant was there, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know. I'm just ready for them to do it again.
Bring the beer back?
I mean, it should be. At least, look, you're going to Vegas. I mean, can't you make an exception for that?
No, Joe.
Yes, you should.
No, because people get stupid on the airplane after they've had a couple of drinks.
I guess, but how many drinks did they have before they got on the plane?
Well, too many of them. I mean, look, we've all seen the videos, right? I mean, I have never been on a flight where somebody's just lost their damn mind.
I haven't either.
But there's enough videos out there that you go, okay, this is why we can't have nice things.
Are those real, Jason?
I saw it on the internet, Joe.
Are you sure they're real?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe somebody made that up.
I mean, Pledger, he's been that guy.
He's been that guy.
It's the only time in his life he's gone viral.
I could see that happening with Pledge. He looks like that kind of guy. After a few cocktails, he just might lose.
Well, Pledge's part and problem on an airplane is the kid cannot stand still or sit still for that matter.
So he's up and down going to the bathroom just to walk around?
No, he's just running up and down the deal. I mean, that's, and, changing seats, talking to people, being a social butterfly, rummaging through people's bags. I mean, Pledge just can't sit there.
Right.
So he
rummaging through bags. Nice.
It's what he does. See, he's not chiming in because he knows I'm not.
He knows
playing.
it's true.
I mean, you got to know what other people have. You never know if you
Maybe
gotta
they
ask
brought
them.
some alcohol.
Yeah.
Maybe they did.
And you were just wanted to drink.
Maybe I forgot my toothpaste and I was looking to see if somebody brought two.
Oh. No. You can't do that. You can't bring toothpaste on the plane.
You can't?
No.
Who said?
It's got to be the little one, right? It has
No?
to be the
Well,
little
yeah.
one. Yeah, it can't be a big tube of toothpaste.
I always travel with a big tube of
Dude,
toothpaste.
I don't know who's checking your luggage, but
I
they're
have
not
T-
doing a very good
I
job.
have TSA pre-check, man.
Well, obviously, jeez.
I mean,
You're the guy.
I don't have the big thing of shampoo.
Well, see,
but-
I have to because my hairspray can is this long, and so
Your hairspray can's a small fire extinguisher.
I have to check that.
Is it still? Do you still wear? What was it? Big sexy?
I never did. Big
Yeah,
Six.
you did.
Never.
Are you sure?
Never in my entire life.
What's the name of your hairspray?
Tresemme.
I don't even know
Number
what that means.
3.
I was going to guess Aquanet.
Who,
No.
who had the big can of Big Sexy at training camp?
It wasn't me.
Was it Chance?
Maybe that was Vinny.
No. it wasn't. It wasn't Vinny.
That wasn't me. Come on, dude. I'm too cheap for that. I go to CVS and get Tresemme, $5 a can or whatever it is.
You get the amount of hairspray that you go through, that big old can.
Yeah.
Because you can't check that. You
No, that's got to be in a suitcase. It has to be checked. I mean, it has to go underneath.
So do you always check so you have your hair product, or do you just buy when you get there?
Well, it depends on how long I'm going. But obviously, this trip, Maggie was nice enough to take the luggage and check it. But she takes a lot of stuff, right? So there you go, AD.
AD
Singh.
Yes.
His wife uses the same thing.
Tresemme.
See, he's got the big one that he carries.
But they
in
have
his
numbers,
bag.
right? So you got to get the right number. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Why did you stop at 3?
Because 3 is just right. It's like, Goldilocks and the 3 bears. It's just right.
Dude.
Number 1 is too hot.
What is the strongest number of their
5.
hairspray?
5. Yeah.
So you're using a 7. You got a 5 and a 2, right?
No.
5
No.
and a 3, you're going with an 8. Dude,
a 3, Jason. Come on.
I can't imagine if that's 3, what 5 must do to your hair, because your hair has not moved in years.
Exactly. And that's Tresemme. I'm telling you. Are they a sponsor? They should be.
They should be. Can we get the Tresemme? Can we get the Tresemme rep online too? Tresemme.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yes, let's call that person.
So you covered one time a hurricane.
I did.
For the fun of it.
Well, no, it wasn't for fun.
It was all hands on deck, but they didn't say, "Hey, sports guy, you want to go cover a hurricane?" You said, "I want to go do that." Why not?
I did, and we volunteered. Vinny and I went, and we went down to was it Cuero?
Did your hair move?
Well, I had a hat on because it was raining like hell. Okay, so I had a hat on, but I had to turn it backwards, right, so it didn't blow off. But it was interesting because I had never done that as a TV guy, right? So never covered a hurricane. So it was kind of cool. And where we were, they weren't expecting much action. But the storm.
That's why they sent you.
Right. But well, unfortunately for us, guess what? The storm turned in our direction. So we got pretty good brunt of that thing. But out of 10 o'clock, right in the middle of that, dude. And there were like pieces of 10 roof flying down. So, at any moment you got to have your head on a swivel. So,
but again, you would have been fine because the Tresemme 3 would have protected you from any head damage.
It's Tresemme.
Tresemme 3
yes.
would have protected. And I can find this at CVS,
HEB.
One of them
They'll have it.
High-level boutiques.
Yeah.
Hair product
I
places.
don't know if they have them at high-level boutiques. So I get the cheap stuff. But it works just fine.
That's hilarious.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, I like to be neat.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Dude, I've known you a long time. Your hair hadn't moved.
It has not.
I would have guessed that you were wearing more than the number 3.
No, the 3 takes care of it.
So what's in the number 5?
I don't know, but it's like super glue.
Well, because you've got cement right now. I mean, your hair is not going to move.
It's not. Well, I mean, it does.
Look at that. You just ran your fingers through there and almost broke one of your fingers. It got caught.
It's well, I have to do that. So the flies, I get them out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You're fun at picnics. You're the guy.
I'm that guy, and it's it's fun. I've been doing it so long now that it's just kind of part. In fact, I had to go to CVS today.
So next week when we leave for Los Angeles,
I will have a fresh can.
You will have a fresh can.
Yes.
Dude, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. Because when you are sharing a house with people, you learn a lot about them.
I'm sure you do.
You will have between, I don't even know what to think of Michael Jimenez. I mean, he's the biggest concern that I have.
And rightly so.
And rightly
so, yes.
I mean, I had to take him to the house one time. We were leaving the Rue Pub. He was outside. He had left, closed his tab, and he had left. And then we left, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later, and he was outside. He was bitching that the Uber was taking forever. He was looking at Google Maps.
There's no Uber on there.
There's not. So I just dumped him into our Uber, and he woke up in my guest house, in my guest room.
Yeah.
But he was at my house, and then all of a sudden, the next day is, as I get up, he got up early and left. But I'm looking at my video cameras, and the guy's just completely lost. He's going to be an interesting one because he wanders. Rudy's Rudy.
Yeah.
Rob will have a night where he will do everybody's laundry and iron at 3:00 in the morning.
Awesome.
And he will lose something. Don't know if it'll be his wallet, if it'll be the car keys, or whatever. But there's yet to be a trip where there hasn't been a Rob panic moment.
Really? So I get to see Rob panic at least once.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing a cigar with Rudy J, though.
Probably more than one.
Oh, I'm not
Rudy.
I'm not a high cigar guy. It's like every now and then. Like I had one in Vegas on Saturday. Nice cigar bar. It was great. But I'm every once in a while guy. I'm not an everyday cigar guy.
Well, every once in a while, every day at the Super Bowl, because Rudy will, I'm guessing we're going to get back to the house, and he will find his way to the back porch, and we'll have drinks, and we're not going to leave him sitting out there by himself. So if we're all sitting outside having a nightcap, we're all going to end up with a cigar.
Good. Well, I'm going to bring some cigars too. Have some that I'm going to bring. I'm sure he's going to bring some. And, you and Rob can pitch in too if you want.
Why would we do that? If you're bringing some and Rudy's bringing some.
Yeah.
I can go over to 1911 Cigars and say, hey, what should I take?
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm just waiting until Thursday.
Well, I have some at the house.
That's
so
the cigar party. How long have they been? Do you have a humidor?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I do. It's a small box thing, but I've got a traveling humidor.
So for a guy that doesn't smoke a lot of cigars, you seem to have a lot of cigar stuff.
I do.
So you smoke more cigars than you are leading on.
It's, in the long run, if you just go buy one or two cigars at the cigar place, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
So you buy a box.
Okay.
It's kind of a heavy outlay at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's like pulling the Band-Aid off. Once you get them home, all in there.
And you got the humidor,
okay,
and it's
right.
all good.
It's all good.
I'm with you.
So then whenever I want, you just open up the box if we're sitting out on the back porch or whatever, and it's nice. Yeah.
Maggie smoke a cigar?
No, she does not. No, she does not. And she does not like it either. After I finish the cigar, dude, I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth.
Yep.
Or I'm not talking to Maggie.
Yes. Yeah, I totally get that. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Again, tomorrow we'll be on 103.3 FM. Tomorrow we will have Troy Aikman joining us on the Blitz at 5:30.
I'm looking forward to that, man. That is going to be nice.
That is going to be nice. And we'll get his thoughts on what he saw in the NFC Championship game, another Garoppolo meltdown.
Well, maybe he'll have a different tone on Garoppolo.
Maybe, although we do have former NFL quarterback Clint Stoerner joining us in about 12 minutes. We'll get his thoughts on Garoppolo and what we've seen. But as long as he has been in the league, and I had forgot about the lead they had
that's right.
against Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But you think about the leads that he has blown, and I think Daryl Johnston put it best. In fourth quarters, when you need to make the big play, he seems to come up small.
Yeah.
I look at the Green Bay game. He made a couple of big throws late, but ultimately the defense blocked a punt or special teams blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown. And the defense kept Aaron Rodgers out of the end zone after that opening drive.
They also blocked a field goal.
And they blocked a field goal in that game. Against Dallas. Yeah. I mean, and again.
Do you want to relive that?
No. The idea that this guy has taken an organization to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game, and they can't wait to get rid of him.
Yeah, that is sad. Now, how long has he been in the league? Because he sat under Brady for 3 years. I got to find out.
Yeah.
And he's been with San Francisco in what now, 3? So he's still a relatively young
4 or
guy,
5.
I think.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but again, though, I mean, the idea of everything that he has going for him, and I think maybe the expectation for Jimmy G is higher because we all know that Belichick loved him and did not want him to leave.
Right.
Belichick would have moved on from Tom Brady because that's Belichick's MO is I don't wait for a player to lose everything to try to get rid of him. I'll get rid of him when he still has a couple of years left to get his replacement in. Belichick doesn't let you hang around too long. He wanted to, Belichick did not want to do that deal.
No.
And so I think the expectation of Belichick loved you, the expectations were going to be so much higher. And then, of course, you talk about decision-making, got the whole porn star thing and all that kind of stuff that still gets brought up today. Hell, Stephen A. was talking about it this morning. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
Absolutely
at this
nothing.
point, other than Stephen A. can say porn star on First Take.
Right.
That's the only thing. But it does go into decision-making.
It does. Well, what are you saying? That's a bad decision?
I'm just saying when you're the quarterback of a team and you're worried about your appearances, probably being out with the porn star is not the best decision.
Maybe Stephen A. shouldn't knock it until he tries it. I'm just saying. I mean, I've never been out with one personally either, but maybe you shouldn't knock it till you try it. I don't know.
Again,
it's easy to judge, right?
It
when
is.
You haven't done something.
Bateo Franklin says, is Jimmy G the new Jim Kelly? A comment on Facebook. No, because I don't know that Jimmy G will ever be a Hall of Fame type quarterback. I mean,
Jim Kelly was 4 Super Bowls, right? And lost them all.
Yeah. Quinn Hudson, one of our Rock the Mic champs, and you can hear him on Sunday. Jimmy G, Josh McDaniels on line 1. It is going to be interesting now that you see all the head coaches getting hired. McDaniels now with the Raiders. What does that mean for the future of Derek Carr? McDaniels and Jimmy G obviously have a relationship that stems back to New England.
Right.
Derek Carr has 1 year left on his deal. I keep him. I don't bring in Jimmy G.
Well, I don't think he will. I think he likes Derek Carr. I think they like each other, and I think they're looking forward to that. And Derek Carr had a pretty good year. I mean, he didn't have a bad year. Obviously, that Raiders team, from most aspects, overachieved. I think he was a big part of that. And then again, they were really close to making the playoffs.
Really close.
Man. And arguably the best game of the year. Certainly one of them.
One of the best regular season
no
games
question.
Of the year. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, soon to be on 103.3 FM. Clint Stoerner will join us coming up next, former Cowboy quarterback, now does radio down in Houston on Sports Radio 610. Clint Stoerner will get his thoughts on what we saw yesterday in the conference championship games. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option is AA Best Bail Bonds for stress-free bail bonds because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. Whether you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, license number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
You never know what he might say. Former Cowboys quarterback Clint Stoerner, right after a SportsCenter update from Jane Pledger.
Thanks, Joe. I'm sure you'll probably be asking him about the Houston Texans coaching search, which is starting to heat up, as Brian Flores interviewed for the second time this week. Also, they've had 2 interviews with Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon and former backup quarterback Josh McCown. They've also interviewed Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell. Cowboys cornerback Trayvon Diggs was named the Pro Football Writers of America's most improved player, while defensive coordinator Dan Quinn was named the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year for 2021. And in the NBA, the Spurs fell to the Suns 115-110 last night as they were without Jakob, Derek, and DeJounte. They'll return to action tomorrow when they host the Golden State Warriors. I'm James Pledger.
Hi, everyone. Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats here. When you bring a package of our smoked sausage home, keep it simple. It's handcrafted in small batches and fully cooked, so you can just heat it up and enjoy. My favorite way to eat it is on a bun with mustard or wrapped in a tortilla. Try some from a store near you today, and if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Guaranteed. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
Are you thinking about selling your car? Don't get tricked with 2-minute offers only to spend 4 hours at a dealership. I want you to check out my friends at Car Zeus. It's Rudy J here. Car Zeus is not a dealership, so you don't need to worry about shady sales tactics just to lure you in the door. I'm talking about saving you time and hassle. Simply fill out a form about your car's condition at carzeus.com, and a local agent will text you an offer during business hours. No obligation. Plus, they pay the same day and even provide a courtesy Lyft ride home. That's carzeus.com.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is your Wendy's wake-up call. Start your day with a better breakfast and get a free drink with any of our morning-making breakfast sandwiches. That's your favorite drink in a Wendy's cup, free. Fresh brewed coffee, free. Diet Coke, free. Vanilla Frosty Chino, that's cold brew plus Frosty Creamer plus free. So don't sleep on this deal. Get any size drink in a Wendy's cup free when you buy any breakfast sandwich. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's. A la carte only. Offer valid upon request on lowest price qualifying item. Not valid for third-party delivery.
The Roo Pub is the best place to watch a game. Football, basketball, the big fights, they have them on at the Roo on their 3 massive 170-inch laser screens and TVs all around. Come hungry, the food is fantastic, and the kitchen is open until 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has the best archery in town, indoor cornhole, and weekday happy hour from 11 to 6. For lunch, dinner, or late at night, and the best place to watch a game, get into the Roo Pub at 281 in Redmond Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom.
With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with the Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Predict the perfect score and win $50,000.
We want more money.
Presented by
Yeah,
Dietz Tractor. Guess now and win at sasportstar.com.
I would like to thank Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. On his podcast moments ago, Let's Go is the podcast. He said it was a good week for me, but I'm still going through the process. When the time is right, I'll make a decision one way or the other. He has not yet officially or publicly made a decision. So as a sports talk radio show, we get more days and days, maybe weeks of speculation. Thank you, Tom Brady. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Last time we're going to be on 94.5 starting tomorrow. Find us on 103.3 FM. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Former Cowboy quarterback Clint Stoerner, now with Sports Radio 610 in Houston, joining us now. Clint, you think about Tom Brady. I was a little surprised that if he made a decision, if Shefty was accurate when he tweeted, and I still think Shefty is right, ultimately will be shown that he was right. It seemed like it was too soon after the season for that news to drop.
Yeah, that seems like something that if it were going to be leaked, that it would be a more coordinated effort, given the fact that Tom Brady's out here creating Man in the Arena documentaries and all this. I mean, this is huge news, and it's even bigger to him than it is to us for once, right? Usually every move he makes, we care a whole lot more than probably he does. But this is one of those moves where, man, I just, when it was first reported, I was like, man, please tell me that CBS Sports and Schefter at ESPN, they're not the ones that are going to break this, the greatest of all time, retiring. And so, yeah, man, I just expected it to be a much bigger deal, and so I had my doubts originally. But to be honest with you, I'm excited that Tom's pops, and now apparently it's first I've heard of that. Apparently he has made it official that he hadn't made a decision yet. I'm pumped for that.
He's made it official that he hasn't officially made a decision yet that's public.
Right.
But I agree with you, Clint. I mean, it ought to be his decision to announce, right? I mean, he's earned that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you got to think. I mean, it's like who in their right mind calls Adam Schefter and says, "Hey, Tom's retiring"? Like, I mean, is that the Buccaneers? Is that somebody in Tom's camp? Is that Tom's agent? And if it's anybody in Tom's camp, or you would think the Bucs are in Tom's camp too, because they want him to play as long as he possibly can. But who in his world would leak that to any national reporter like that? I love all those guys, but these national reports and all these per source kind of things, man. I mean, they're really out of control this year with all the head coach stuff. The head coach, all the candidates that are out there, all the jobs that are open. But man, when it comes down to the GOAT, man, we got to let that man call a press conference and let him announce it whichever way he wants to make that happen.
Clint Stoerner joining us here on the Blitz. Clint, 2 games yesterday, both winners were down 21-3 in Cincinnati's case. The Rams down 10 in the fourth quarter against the San Francisco 49ers, and both with interesting quarterback play in the games. I don't know which one you want to start with. Let's start with the NFC. I thought Stafford played a hell of a game. Lucky one wasn't intercepted, made him play on the next one, and Jimmy G, big moments, came up small.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm not a Jimmy Garoppolo fan, and I think it is somewhat unfair to start every conversation with, his downfall or his weaknesses. But hell, I'm going to do it, right? I mean, the first third down, out of the gate on the first drive, he's got one of the best tight ends in the game open over the middle for a huge gain, if not a touchdown, and he misses him. And that's the story of Jimmy G. When you get to the Super Bowl or you get to the playoffs, typically those are the plays that determine whether you win or lose, because everybody's really good. Everybody's got good play callers. Everybody's got, a really good playmaker out there. And if you draw one up to where a guy's wide open and Jimmy G misses him, you can't win ball games. It's ultimately going to bite you in the tail. Now, I will say this. I think both of these games where they're similar is you had San Francisco with a 10-point lead and the football, and they're one of the better offenses, if not the best offense in the game at chewing up the clock. At that point in time, you got to think San Francisco is going to win that game. You got Kansas City up 11 with a chance to push it to 14 or 18 and get the ball coming out at halftime. You got to believe that Kansas City is going to win that ball game. And so both of them were games that I think even after the start, after the opening kickoff, guys, and you get into the late in the first half or even into the third quarter, you can say that you pretty safe turning those games off and predicting the winner. And I'll be dang if they both games didn't get flipped on their head late, man. We have been blessed with some phenomenal football, guys.
Yeah, it's been incredible, Clint. But I got to ask you, we talk about Jimmy G and his mistakes, but look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes yesterday. That play at the end of the first half, I think, just kind of took something out of their soul, because they came out in the second half and Patrick Mahomes looked like a different quarterback to me.
Yeah, that's what a team that rushes 3 and drops 8 guys into coverage, and now you're throwing into a picket fence instead of wide open spaces. So, look, I think you've got nobody could have predicted the collapse of Kansas City, but just to put a bow on what happened to Kansas City, and they do this all the time, but they're so damn good they get away with it. The level of arrogance that the Chiefs play with, particularly offensively, and that Pat Mahomes plays the quarterback position with, ultimately we accept. It's bad football, but we accept it because they're so damn good at it. And when you look at the critical moments in yesterday's game, and I'll only beat this drum because I beat it from day one with Pat Mahomes. It's a hard argument to win because they win so much and he's so good. But last night it was showcased in a big way. The end of the first half, who snaps the football with 5 seconds on the clock and then throws a pass to your third or fourth receiver in a progression to the 4-yard line short of the end zone with 2 defenders out there to make the tackle? It doesn't get any more arrogant. Nobody does that. As a quarterback, football 101, take the snap, catch the leather, touch leather, and get the ball out of your hand into the end zone. It's either incomplete, you kick a field goal, or it's a touchdown. Who does it? Who does anything other than that? The Chiefs. You look at the end of regulation. Pat Mahomes drop back. He pushes up in the pocket hard. He looks over his left shoulder, checking the pass rush. Looks over his right shoulder, checking the pass rush. Who the hell does that? Pat Mahomes does it all the time. They were on the 4-yard line, guys. First and goal on the 4-yard line, I believe. They ended up kicking a 44-yard field goal after luckily falling on a fumble because he ran backwards. Who does that?
And it kind of felt like they knew they were going to score a touchdown. They just didn't want to score fast enough and give Joe Burrow the ball back with any time on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, but Jay, when you get down there as a quarterback, I get all that. You want to eat the clock up, whatever, however you want to do it. I'm fine with that. But you get down there, and it's rule of thumb. You get down there, you're in field goal range, you got points, the game's going to be tied, you've guaranteed overtime. What you can't do is have a penalty, have a turnover, or take a sack. And I'll be damned if Pat Mahomes didn't do 2 of the 3 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, who does that? A team that thinks that they can just go out there and end the game in overtime. And then in overtime, what happens? Critical moment, he throws the ball into double coverage to about a receiver that's about 5'4" into double coverage, gets away with it all year long. But when you got a good defense out there, you got a corner that bailed underneath it, and boom, the tip becomes an interception. Those are all just a level of arrogance, guys, that they play with that we accept because they're so good, but it bit them last night.
Yeah, it certainly did. I tell you what, but you're right. We had some great football last couple of weeks. All right, I got to ask you about something I know you know something about, and that's the Houston Texans. Who's it going to be, Clint? Is it Josh McCown? Brian Flores?
Man, look, I would go with Brian Flores. You're talking about a guy that's got experience rebuilding an organization. He won 19 games in the last 2 years with the Miami Dolphins. He obviously could never figure out the offensive side of the game, but that's something that you could remedy by an offensive coordinator hire, I would imagine. Brian Flores, to me, is the no-brainer. But the only way, guys, that Josh McCown is in the conversation of finalists, which he is. He's in that bunch. The only way he's in that conversation, the only way you and I and us three can make sense of it, and hell, anybody listening more than likely can make sense of it, is that there is an unbelievable personal tie in the building. And that's well documented. Him and Jack Easterby go way back, and there is a tie that has not only gotten him an interview, but it's gotten him 3 interviews, and now they've announced that he's in the 3 finalists. And so for me, I don't know how it's anybody other than Josh McCown if we're reading the tea leaves, but I want to be on record of saying that I think the best hire is Brian Flores at this point.
I agree, although, and it's hard to judge sometimes off of Twitter. The Texans official Twitter account earlier today said they have completed discussions. Interesting choice of word, not interviews, but discussions with Gannon, Flores, and McCown. But then Mark Vandermeer, the voice of the Texans, also added in Kevin O'Connell, who's, kind of busy right now. He's had the first interview. So I don't know if they're close or not close. Or are they just trying to add more names to the list for discussions? Or is it a discussion and is that different than an actual interview?
Well, the fact that we're having this conversation is one of my biggest problems with the Texans. Why they make very simple processes extremely difficult for us to even comprehend, much less follow, is beyond me. But the way that I understand it, the dust is settled. The announcement of Kevin O'Connell, which came first today, of the interview, they didn't have a date on there. That is in reference to what Adam Schefter broke last week, which was the initial interview happened sometime last week with Kevin O'Connell. Why the Texans waited till the day to drop that information, I have no idea. The second tweet that dropped from the Houston Texans organization, so we say it's official when the Texans put their name on it. And again, I don't know why they didn't say we've wrapped up our second round of interviews for our head coach position. Why they say discussions, I have no idea. But since the dust is settled, I believe those are the 3 finalists for the job. So Kevin O'Connell, unfortunately, he would have been my number 1. Unfortunately, I believe that he is out of the mix, and the 3 finalists are Brian Flores, Jonathan Gannon, and Josh McCown. And which, again, as I told you guys, I think Josh McCown gets the job somehow, some way, but I believe Brian Flores is who should get the job, if you ask me.
That is unbelievable that Josh McCown would become a head coach of the Houston Texans. That's crazy to me. All right, I got to ask you this before we let you go, Clint. As far as Deshaun Watson, what's the latest there that you're hearing?
The latest we heard was a report dropped last week that they've deposed 13 of the 22 women that have filed charges, I guess, in the civil lawsuits. And they've scheduled the depositions that will take place of Brian Burney, who is a marketing agent that apparently was involved in some of the tweets or some of the Instagram messages and calls, and then Quincy Avery, the quarterback coach of Deshaun Watson, which again is somehow involved in some of the Instagram messages, maybe setting up some of the massage sessions that obviously went astray somehow, some way. And that was pretty much it. I mean, that's the update. There was a tidbit in there from the attorney that said that one of the women that is actually, I guess, was involved with between the Texans and some of the scheduling of the massage therapist. She pled the fifth on all of her questions. I don't know why he added that in there, but maybe to cast a little bit of doubt on the process. But that's about it, man. I mean, not a lot of clarity to what's going on. I know Deshaun Watson is set to be deposed, I believe, late February, which is really the big, I guess, the next domino to drop, if you will, that I think we all need to pay attention to, because that's going to tell us a lot. And I think it would be the end of the depositions, if you will. So, and as you know, guys, it's about a month and a week before the draft. So that's when things will get hot and heavy on the Deshaun Watson front.
Well, absolutely. Get all these to go away so he can get traded and be fine. It's just like the owner of the Giants. Nah, man, we would never trade him with all the – wait, nothing legal pending? All right, Deshaun, come on down.
Yeah, look, I've been in that camp for a while, Jason, and you guys have covered the game forever. Is all of the smoke about a franchise and an owner and a front office not wanting to explain to their fan base how they acquired or why they would acquire a quarterback with that in his background. Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback when you factor his age into the mix. If you could get him at somewhat of a discount, and the first time he won a ball game, that fan base would forgive you real quick. So I think they're going to line up for him once he does get beyond all of the lawsuits, both civilly and I think whatever he's got going on with the complaints with the HPD as well. I mean, he's got to get beyond all of that. But when he does, man, they're going to line up at his front door.
Yeah, they are. And I think he'd look really good in yellow pants and playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nowhere near the NFC East. Hey, Clint, before we let you go, man, one of your former teammates is going to be on the show tomorrow at 5:30. Some dude named Troy. Give me a good Troy story that we could tell on the air, since you were, working with Troy back in the day. How did he treat the backups?
Well, Troy treated me all right, man. I mean, he was the first thing Troy did was when it came down to the rookie hazing, which I wasn't caught in the bad rookie hazing, like when guys were getting taped to poles and things of that nature. What they wanted me to buy the meal one night, and I think Aikman knew what my rookie minimum salary was going to be, so he picked that up. The best thing I've got on Aikman, other than just playing with the Hall of Famer and what that meant to me as a young quarterback, was word got back to me that he actually was the one that connected with the Miami Dolphins and got me a shot up there, which lasted on and off for 2 years. And so I never would have thought Troy would have extended that arm, that hand up, if you will, after I only spent 1 year with him in Dallas. But he did, man, and it meant a lot to me. And to have a Hall of Famer reach out and keep me employed for a couple more weeks it meant a lot. I mean, that's about all I can give you that's PG. I mean, everything else I got to keep under the hat now.
Understand that, my friend. Understand that. Clint, always appreciate the time, man. We'll talk soon.
You got it, brother. Y'all be good, man.
Clint Stoerner, former Cowboy quarterback, now hosting on Sports Radio 610 down in Houston.
Always good, man. I love talking to that guy because, he's going to tell you like it is. That's great.
And he's got the skins on the wall too, man.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Get some drinks and the stories. Man,
I'm sure.
Thought he was going to talk about the breakfast sandwich in a very particular way in which Troy had the rookies go bring the breakfast sandwiches.
Is that PG rated?
No, that one was PG. I figured he would.
Oh, okay.
I promise that Clint knows the order by heart. I promise you.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was I forget what the place was, but like every position group, like that has told me stories about all the different ways that you had to get the breakfast sandwiches. Now, quarterback room is one thing, but when you're getting them for the defensive linemen and the other linebackers as the rookie.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's a reason. Well, a variety of reasons. One, he's frugal that way, but it took a while before Dak could go buy himself a new car because the amount of money he must have spent on breakfast sandwiches his rookie year was incredible. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star. We will be back to wrap up the show. Ryan Eagle is in Vegas. I'm sure he's got some stories that he'll share.
Well,
maybe.
Joe Theismann leaked the name of the Washington football team.
Oh, we have that?
We do.
So we've got breaking news?
We could have breaking news if you believe the internet.
What does he say?
He says the Commanders.
That's what I'm afraid of. I've heard that from a couple
That's
people.
going to happen on Wednesday, by the way. New uniform design and all that. They look real good on Deshaun Watson.
Does that mean I just can't wear my Commanders gear anymore?
You may not. That people will mistake you as a Washington football team fan.
Get a rash just thinking about that. Man. So Joe Theismann leaked it. Of course he did.
Of course.
Of course. It was Joe Theismann. We'll talk about that as we continue here on the Blitz. If you have struggled with dental problems your whole life, you need to know about River City Oral Surgery and Dr. Mark Havercorn, who is an oral surgeon and a medical doctor. He's great at what he does, and what they do over there at River City Oral Surgery, it's different from every other place you're going to go because they offer what is called direct patient care. In other words, they don't want your dental insurance. If you have dental insurance, they'll help you file a claim, but they're a cash business. What's also great is you know exactly what it is going to cost before you even walk in. All the prices are right there on the website, and that includes your exam, your x-ray, your post-op care, everything from start to finish. And even if you have dental insurance, chances are it's still going to be less expensive at River City Oral Surgery. That website, rivercityoms.com. $1,300 per dental implant. Need a tooth pulled? That's $325. Wisdom teeth, all four of them, they can be pulled for $1,000. They do have financing available. If you've had cavities followed by fillings, more fillings, root canals, crowns, only to have the pain come back, stop wasting time and money at the dentist every few years only for that work to fail. Maybe it is dental implants that could be your solution. No better place to go get that taken care of than River City Oral Surgery. And you don't need a referral. You just call and make an appointment. 210-778-0002. 778-0002 or online at rivercityoms.com.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
How do I know this check's gonna clear? Is your money any good? I heard about you guys like that. Yeah, well, let me tell you something. We've already bought $1 billion worth of your used cars in 2021. $1 billion with a B. That means we do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And our money's good. And our transaction's good. We've got our stuff together. 1,000 to 100 grand, we're all over it. Where? Only at GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo, and auto security headquarters has discounts piled to the ceiling. That's right, every store, Austin and San Antonio, and especially the Bandera Road store in San Antonio has discounts on everything. Car stereos, car alarms, and especially the window tint you want. Dark, dark, dark window tint. Also, make your car go thump, 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 mother thump with new subwoofers and an amplifier. That's right. We can even hook it up to your existing factory car stereo. Get to Mother's Window Tint today. Check us out online at motherswindowtint.com or give us a like and a follow on Facebook. Tell your friends. Come on in. We've got those discounts stacked to the ceiling at Mother's Window Tint. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
If you're a guy over 30 and feeling frustrated about your health, listen up. Not feeling yourself lately? Are work and relationships getting you down? Do you feel a lack of energy and focus on the things that matter to you most? All men around age 30 have the potential for their testosterone levels to decline naturally. When that happens, life can feel out of control. If that's you, then it's time to rethink your health with Synergenics Testosterone Replacement Therapy. For more info and to schedule an appointment, head over to 800lowt.com today and get your life back.
Here in Texas,
Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinigle. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate. 210-785-0994 or go online at stevensroofing.net.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to LA. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey Alexa, what's for lunch? San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Do me a favor. Go to in 7 minutes. Go to 103.3.
7 minutes.
And lock that in. Because tomorrow morning, we're going to be on 103.3 FM and 94.5 is going to have hip hop. And you're going to hear stuff like Weed 94.5.
That's right. You don't want to hear that. You want to hear Rob and Rudy.
Exactly.
At 7 o'clock in the morning.
But don't do it now because you're going to miss the final segment of the show.
And you don't want to do that.
No, because we are going to hear from Tom Brady on his podcast as soon as Pledge gets it ready. I mean, Pledge is doing yeoman's work right now, trying to get this done. So hopefully he'll have it done before we end the show. He's ready to go. Tom Brady on his podcast saying he's not retiring.
Well, I think the point is there's no really rush for me to figure out what's next. I'll know when I know. And it's a day after the season. So I think for all of us, we can all decompress a bit. It's been 6 straight months of football every day consumed by, day in and day out football. And I think now it's just some time to spend some time with my family.
You said that a week ago. I want to know what you said now because you've had a week. It's not the day after. And, I do believe Shefty was right.
Well, maybe he was, but maybe give Brady a chance to go on vacation. Go hang out on the island somewhere and chill and relax and spend some time with your family and then make a decision. Then talk with the Bucs and see what they're going to do and what kind of team they plan on bringing out. I mean, there's no reason for Tom Brady or Adam Schefter or anybody else to say he's going to retire right now. He's got plenty of time to make that call.
Their job is to break news. Yes, in a perfect world, Tom should be able to call a press conference and make the announcement himself and not have somebody scoop it. But in the world in which we live in, you're not afforded that luxury.
I'm okay with Schefter scooping or releasing the story, but I mean, get it right. What are we going to sit here a month from now and say, oh, well, a month ago, Schefter was right.
Yeah, Shefty is going to be proven right at some point. Well, although knowing Tom Brady the way I think we all feel like we know him, he's going to come back now just to spite Adam Schefter. I mean, that is exactly what's going to happen. So we will see. And boy, you spent all weekend in Vegas. You fly in late last night and did 3 hours of radio. Now you got to go to the TV station.
Yeah. Well, yeah, young kids like me, we can do that. Party all weekend, come back, work all Monday. It's not a problem, Jason. That's what happens. That's, young fellas like me.
Sure.
That's what happens.
Troy Aikman on the Blitz tomorrow at 5:30.
Cannot wait for that.
On 103.3 FM and AM 1250.
Yes, both of those. Or Facebook.
Or YouTube. But 103.3. Go lock your presets. You can do it now. You got our permission.
San Antonio Sports Star is headed to LA. Get the